Welcome back, everyone, to the Away Day show. First, I kick off. Thanks for all the support on the Saturday, and thanks boys coming through Sunday. That was a good fun.
Great win.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, don't really want to talk about it.
I was watching it back.
Here.
We were very quiet the last 10 minutes. I think we just were stone faced, just staring at the screen. But that was good to have Jared here. Good win for you, and hopefully we'll go a few more of them in the future. And North London Derby in a few weeks, so we can get that one going as well.
You're not here for.
I might be, but I think I'm back for that one. So I think we can do that one live.
You think you're back?
Yeah, I think I'm back. I think it's the week after the.
This is breaking news for us.
This is all live. I was working.
So
on my
you're
calendar
away match week 5,
next match week.
and then
And I'm back.
North London's match week 6.
Yeah, so we're back for that. We'll do that one live. We'll get that one going off.
Beautiful.
But Flynn's bringing us some breaking news. We just saw this as before we kicked off, before we get into the Prem stuff. What's going on in the transfer?
Al Ittihad, I think is how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Are preparing a launch world record of 215 mil bid for Mo Salah.
215 mil.
So 31-year-old on massive wages hasn't really been performing that well since his signed contract.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement.
And yeah, I think
Pretty-
How could you not agree?
But it seems like
if I was a Liverpool shareholder and they didn't accept that bid, I'd be fuming. Put it like that.
Oh, 100%.
oh, 100%.
Because that is crazy.
But
money
like
for a
you've seen,
31-year-old.
the problem is you've heard the backing from like Klopp. Klopp's come out. He's not going. Then you've heard Szoboszlai
Money
on the
talks.
weekend.
I just think we always
He's
say
gone.
all these things.
Mo Salah's saying thankfully he's staying. Blah blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
but could you imagine though, this team's Benzema, Salah, Kante, like these government clubs now are just like nuts. It is going to be such a top 4 league. That's like
But like, we're all in agreement that he has to leave.
I think
And they have
he
to
wants
accept
to
that.
leave.
I
He
would
wants to
guarantee.
leave.
Yeah, so like,
I'd be willing to
what
bet right
would the
now.
Liverpool like hierarchy up there be doing if they don't like? He hasn't been in the best of form. Liverpool's
They're
actual
probably
greatest
they're probably
asset.
just trying to milk him. Like
Yeah, their
they
greatest
know
asset.
Saudi are
250. Imagine if they get to something like
Yeah, I know
250.
their greatest asset as well. Liverpool is their forward line. It's probably the easiest place they can cover.
Yeah.
It looks like they've done good moves
Yeah,
around.
but come on,
the
Mo
other places
Salah
in their
is
pitch.
like he's the same as. I wasn't saying this. He's like the same as Kane though, in the sense that like he's got a couple more years left.
Yeah, okay.
But like
Alright.
Kane went for 100 mil, was it?
Yeah.
Had a much better season than Salah did in a much worse team. Like Salah was good, but
Yeah.
Kane had like a record breaking season.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
with a
was only
stinker
over
team.
Yeah, exactly.
overbitten by Haaland. Like I think if you're Liverpool and you don't take that, then like you're not running the club properly because that is outrageous.
Do you reckon then they just hold on, I guess, and say, well, we'll accept it in January because obviously the Premier League transfer window's closed. Saudi have another week to do their business. Do you reckon they just say, yeah, sign the paper, but he'll go in January? Because then
I
Liverpool
just
will
don't
be
think
screwed,
I just
right?
don't think it's worth it. 31-year-old, I don't think it's worth the risk for Liverpool in that
Just in
sense.
case he gets injured or something.
He's
like-
31 years old. If he does a hammy or he does like anything, I think at that point,
Yeah.
his market
I would
value
agree.
reduces by
Liverpool's on a good little run
50
here.
mil.
Like, do you really want to lose like a pivotal player?
I agree with you, but if you look at their like backup options, like from the weekend they started Nunez, Diaz, Salah, correct?
Yeah.
So then they had Jota and Gakpo on the bench.
And
play
then they've
Harvey
obviously
a
got
little
like,
bit
and
higher.
obviously, yeah, they got players
Like-
that can play higher. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they got 10s there. Like Mac Callis has played 10 before. They have a lot of options you can run
They're
through
fluid.
a front 3-4
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
especially with the inclusion
yeah.
of Gravenberch now.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Like-
like we move
Yeah.
forward now. And
I don't think it's like the end of the world if they have to play.
because they're on the Europa League. It's not like
Yeah, they might
And
end up
even
playing.
if they play 2 up top, they play Trent in like a right mid role. Like,
I reckon
there's-
they could
there's
play
ways that- if you have to
McAllister
deal
as
with
number
it,
10.
if you have to deal with it for
Szoboszlai pushes a bit wide. He's
left
definitely
winger.
played there before.
their things on that.
yeah, if they have to deal with it for until like for whatever 4 months,
5
whatever it is,
months, yeah.
like,
But even then, I don't know if they'd go out and make a breakthrough signing. They've got the players there. I think they'd probably
But
throw
it'd be
more on
dumb
the
not
bench.
to make
Well,
a big splash for someone.
If you look at it like the last time they went through this sort of success window after they sold Coutinho for 140 mil, they went out and signed Alisson
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Van Dijk. You can see like what that sort of money can do for a club run like Liverpool, where they're supposed to where they're supposedly invest based upon their incoming,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think like that transfer could look right now. You might look at it in the 6-month phase and be like, oh, it's not great for right now, but you have to look at it in the 3 or 4 year sort of time
Yeah.
span, and that money could do wonders
I say,
for like their longevity.
You
Right?
talk about money, and they're like got a stand that's half built because the company got liquidated. They signed, so that's going to screw them over
Yeah.
money wise. So
Really?
I guess something
I
like,
didn't know
yeah.
this.
I read that the other day. So that's why the stand's half. It should be done by now. It's like half empty because of that.
Yeah,
But so stuff like that. I guess when you look at it from a bigger picture, off the pitch, it's probably, and Liverpool always been run like that. You're right.
Yeah.
They're like a spend per profit. Sort
Yeah,
of system.
well, I don't know them self-sustainable
Yeah,
business model, right?
they don't do
And
like the big
they don't
clubs
run
that
like
overspend.
Chelsea or City where they
Or
kind
United,
of
where they just
or have
overspend.
constant money, right?
Yeah.
So like I think just compared to like the Coutinho thing, where I was like, at the time, no one liked it. They're like,
That was
this is like the guy who's supposed to lead us the next 5-10 years or whatever it was. Then they go and sign the best keeper in the world. It's been that way for probably 4 or 5 years. And they signed at the time was a top 3 Ballon d'Or, or 2 years later top 3 Ballon d'Or, finisher in Van Dijk.
Yeah,
has been one of the best centre backs the Premier seen in the last decade or last 20 years or whatever it is. So I think for the sake of the longevity of the club. It makes a lot, we're talking 215 mil here. Like it's not like 100 mil. I think we'd be having this debate if it was 100 mil.
Yeah,
I think it's a no-brainer.
It's gotta be no-brainer.
At 215 mil, that I think it will 100% be accepted. If it's not accepted, then I might retire from this podcast.
Yeah, just give up. Yeah, good.
I'm on the.
That is crazy money.
It's nuts money.
That has to be. Is that record breaking, or did Neymar go for a little bit more to PSG?
I think Neymar was some levels of
220.
220. Yeah, that's what I've got. But I'm looking at it at the point of view that I completely agree with everything you're saying, and I'm on the standpoint he's got to go. Like they've got to get the money and cash in for him. But I've got this. I've got a feeling that they're not going to. I don't know why.
There's a strong sensation. Not going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I've seen many times before where clubs come out and back their players and say they're staying. I think all that does is just help secure that little bit more money.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, unless you offer us crazy money, we're not going to budge on this player.
215. So crazy.
No, I know. But
I reckon they can pull a bit more.
I think they can push 250. I can Saudis will go 250. That was it.
I think this is it. I think
imagine a quarter of $1 billion.
That would be. I mean, look, I've been kind of I've understood the Saudis' business model quite a lot, but I think with 215, you could go and buy at least in their model 2 massive name players who might be there for 5 years instead of 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And demand probably half the wages Salah would demand. Yeah. I think it'd be crazy if they go any more.
Could be on $1 million a week. Easy.
The thing about Salah, it's the whole the Muslim background,
100%,
stuff, and
100%.
the attraction of he's the biggest player over there. I think by far him and Benzema are the biggest 2 players over there because of religion and because of what they've done. So for the Saudis, it's a must get sort of deal. So obviously 215 is a lot. 215 is a lot. I think they'll probably go one more bid. I don't know how much bigger it could be, but you're right. The Liverpool, maybe Klopp doesn't want him to go, but the Liverpool higher ups will surely intervene and say, mate, this is relax. This is
I think they're the owners for a reason, and as well, at the end of the day, Klopp is an employee.
Yeah, when you put it that way, yeah.
He can have some, he can have his say, but at the end of the day,
run the club.
He's not the one who's going to end up with the money in his pocket or not in his pocket. He's going to get paid a salary regardless. So, look, I think we'll see that Salah bid accepted within that range. I can't see them going much higher. And look, maybe, we can't really rule off anything with these guys in Saudi Arabia, but I'd be surprised if they need another bid, because 215, it'd be a crazy deal to turn down if you're Liverpool.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into the Prem stuff. We'll do some transfer stuff either next week or the next few days. We'll sort something out with that. But what we learned from the weekend, I just want to kick us off saying I was not big on Newcastle last week, and I think this week I'm learning that they're in a little bit of trouble early on. I know they've played some big teams. You got Liverpool, they've played Aston Villa, they've played Brighton, but they got Brentford when they come back for the international break at home. You want to really get 3 points in that game. They're only won one game so far this season. And versus Brighton, don't get me wrong, Brighton's a great team, well-coached team, but for where both teams are going to push onto the Saudi backing of Newcastle, the whole Champions League thing, you wanting them to kick on this year. The fans are about Premier League push, all this stuff, rubbish like that. But still, their ambition's there to go forward, right? And to get I guess the first 20 minutes they were all right, but to get dominated off the park probably for the rest of the game, deserve be out possessioning them out shots wise. They dominated them. Isaac missing some chances there as well. Just like Brighton with a more accomplished team. And coming into the game, I thought it'd be a closer encounter than it was, but I think it's the early worrying start. Don't get me wrong, it's no red alarm, big alarms yet. But for Newcastle, with the ambition and how quickly they've improved, the signs they're making, the Tenalis of the world, that midfield that looks, we were saying, one of the best going around. And they're right only one Premier League win so far. A bit of worry going to be around the club at the moment. So that was what I picked up from the weekend.
What did you pick up?
Yeah, I picked up that the teams in the middle of the table, that we expect in the middle of the table, are going to push the top of the table a lot more than I expected. Probably that's a bit doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'll explain what I mean.
Yeah, the league's going to be competitive.
Yeah. No, I think that the teams such as West Ham, Brighton, Villa, even Tottenham, our whole argument when we were predicting the table was, we're putting them lower. Maybe not West Ham, but like the other three, we're putting them lower because we can't like find it in ourselves to put them higher because of the squads that the teams have above them.
Or even like the name of the club.
Yeah, the name of the
100%.
club. Yeah, whatever it is. But like even
100%.
Spurs, like we straight away like ridden them off. Like not ridden
That
them off.
was.
But, like,
I'd say more so what you're saying applies to maybe Villa and Brighton. I think with Spurs there was so much like
up in the air.
It was
yeah,
like,
okay.
It
But
was
what
a
I'm
really
saying
sort
is,
of sort of like
Unforeseen
foreseeable
stuff,
like
well, you look at the
period of the club, and we had no idea what the direction they were going to go in. So I think Spurs have caught all of us off guard.
Yeah.
100%. But I think what you're saying applies more to like Brighton.
No, but what I'm trying to get at is like you look at the likes of like, well, there's three of them really, but specifically United and Chelsea, they're looking way off the curb. Like they're looking like if they don't fix something in the next month, they're not even making top 6.
Yeah, and it's so competitive.
That's what I'd say. Like
Yeah.
I'd say they got a month to fix something after the international break.
I think that's a
I
big
think it's a
reason
fair
though as to
statement.
why we still had these clubs above. Because I think historically, big clubs tend to find a way to fix it up.
Yeah, but
Pretty quickly. Whereas like I remember like Liverpool, not like I think it was COVID year or maybe 2 years ago, right? Where not COVID year because they won the league that year. I think it was when 20,
it was the year after.
2021.
Yeah.
That started so poor.
They had such a bad start of the year, and like it felt like we were in February or March, and they were sort of 8th or 9th.
yeah,
And then they went on this crazy run.
Allison header.
And ended up finishing
Nathan
4th.
Phillips at
They ended up
centre-back.
finishing 4th.
Yeah.
And it was just like
How?
they just kind of pulled it out of nowhere because they ended up getting above us the last few days or last few weeks. And it was like, I just think that was sort of like a reminder. The big clubs tend to find a way to get these things done. And they usually have the play, so Chelsea and United and even Newcastle, like, although it might not be going super sweet at the moment, when you have the players in your squad, a hot run of form, like 6 or 7 games where you can get 3 points each game, those 20 points can add up really quick.
Yeah.
And you can start pipping a few teams up there. And that's why I think a lot of us tend to sort of back the big clubs because I think historically speaking, you find that is the case across the board. That on average, these teams will end up being up there just based upon the squad they have and like the ability for these big clubs to back their players financially and just, get it together pretty quickly.
you're right. But you got
I was going to build on your point because all I'm thinking, like, I'm just, as a United, I'm looking at United. So we played Wolves week 1 and scraped over the line, playing some pretty average football.
Yeah.
Then look at Crystal Palace, who struggled first half but made changes second half. And they looked 10 times better, but still able to get a result, if you know what I mean. Like, so the fact that it's similarity to the performances of like a Crystal Palace, so we sort of had 12th, 13th, and took a United, and then you got Chelsea who couldn't make the tactical changes against Nottingham Forest as well. It's like the management, it's underrated how much level like the managers have risen as well. So like an Iraola at Bournemouth probably could have deserved 3 points there away to Brentford, which is one of the hardest places to go, it seems. Roy Hodgson's reinvented himself at Crystal Palace. David Moyes has found his system again at West Ham. There's managers all around the league.
Brighton going from Graham Potter to De Zerbi.
Every manager feels like
saying
top
that,
European talent.
Yeah, everyone was saying that as soon as Potter leaves, it was like, oh, well, what's going to happen with Brighton now? Like, De Zerbi, I think was at Sassuolo before that, and it was kind of like, oh, like, who is this guy? How's he
actually
going
going to do anything?
And like, there's clearly talent out there, and the Prem's able to replicate that talent. And as you're saying, across the board,
I can't think of a really poor man. Like, obviously, the lower teams got English talent that you probably can't show themselves at the Hecking Bottoms and the
there's a couple
Edwards
of
the world. It's hard
names there
for
for sure,
so
which no one really
rubbish.
associates with and stuff like that. But it's in like across the board, like it does feel as though the depth, whether it's players or managers or financial backing or whatever it
the whole
is,
environment,
the Prem just feels like it's taken that leap.
Bournemouth, like top 15 spenders in the world. Like that just shows what the level is that. Key do what you're saying.
Yeah, but like going back to my point, like very easily those 2 or 3 teams, United, Chelsea, even Newcastle, could really drop off the pace. And even though they have the quality and they realistically at the end of the season will gain points, unless like you look at a season like an outlier like last year with Chelsea. But like still, they're always going to be chasing.
It's catch up,
Yeah, it's always catch up still. So like those teams like Brighton, those teams like Villa, those teams like West Ham, who have got the points. I know it's match week 4, but
it's considerable.
But like it isn't just the fact they've got the points on the board. They're playing good football as well, and they're showing that they're going to get the points on the board in the next 4 weeks, in the next 10 weeks. It's not about just they've got 10 points after 4 games.
Yeah, 100%. It leads on perfectly because Friday night's fixture was West Ham and Luton. I might as well just call them Tots FC right now, West Ham United, because they just keep rolling
I will
on.
say something on that game though.
Go on. Yeah.
Like, I was watching it.
I watched
I watched like the last 20, 30 minutes, and Luton got the goal, and then that was a clear
Handball more proud. So I was going to say that.
Clear.
So 2-0, they were coasting. Zuma's header went in. They were sort of playing a bit of a laze and stuff at the back, passing the ball around. Then they get a sort of a decent goal, Luton, but I think it was a bit West Ham bit on the beach a bit. And then that corner, I think it was in, what minute was it? It was like
93rd,
90 something. And it goes in, and don't get me wrong, Will Prowse doesn't know much about it, but his arm's up. It's away from his body.
His arm is there, and it's hit his elbow. So
for me,
and it's not next
has
to his
be a
body.
penalty, yeah.
It's got to be like, the handball rule is actually probably the most complex, misunderstood rule that I could think of
in the Premier League right now as well.
Ever in the Premier League. Because we've had all those controversy with VAR at the start of its tenure and stuff. But now, we've had 3 or 4 weeks in a row where we're the same incident happening. And we're like, that's handball, that's not handball. Yeah. It's like they get the wheel and they spin it and they go, they go yes or no, on one side of the wheel and each side, and they go and they just randomly do it.
But the thing the commentator said, which was quite smart, they say, the distance thing. Because he said the guy's crossed it from a corner. So there's no distance rubbish.
Yeah.
And if you're jumping with your hands up, we saw the COVID years and coming out of it, they're paying a lot for people jumping and using their arms to jump.
Exactly.
Because if you're heading the ball or stopping the ball getting onto someone.
Well, it's directly hit it from the corner.
It was
he's actually missed the ball with his head. And hit his head.
So West Ham were lucky in that regard. But
very lucky.
Before that, the football they were playing
I would have thought that was as better. Blatant as they come.
Oh, I reckon the Tottenham United was more, because that was more just there, but.
They were the exact same thing. And to be honest, maybe that's what they're going at this year, because they didn't give that one. And now since they didn't give that one, they've gone back again to not give this one.
I'm interested in the next... After week 1, there'll be the dunk one.
But basically now that... If they're going to be consistent, fair enough, because that's the main thing you ask from your refs, consistency. But you can't now go for the rest of the season and go, okay, we're not giving handballs anymore.
It is a bit rubbish, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we do see in the Prem...
every fortnit and you disagree.
I feel like every year we see that they just adjust rules midway through the season. And I hate it so much because it's so easy to compare games 3 months earlier where it's they didn't pay them, but now something and that is I agree, that is 100% one of the worst things about the Prem, where they just decide to because realistically now they should not be paying those for the rest of the year. But
they can't not. I know. You're right.
In theory, with the consistency thing, I mean, we've already seen with the Tomiyasu Trent one. That is the biggest consistency you can ever see.
Yeah.
They were identical scenarios.
That won't happen again, though. They'll be given a red next time.
I tend to agree, but as in, it's just...
But what's the next
it's
scenario?
It's just so annoying. I don't, as long... I don't care which way you're going to lean. For me, it's as long as you're consistent with it. Because I feel as though that there's enough games where those scenarios are, they're going to level out throughout the year as long as you're consistent.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're not consistent, teams can get the wrong way both times and the right way both times. And that's when I feel like you're going to have overall, impediments on the way the league ends up being.
What I find, just to wrap the umpire thing, referee thing up, because I feel like we talk about it every week, is
yeah, we do.
They try and implement these things to other teams. So the added time, how much time, the yellow card for time wasted. Okay, cool. They try and too much implement that. They get feedback, and people like me who just hate it, so they dial it back. And then they don't focus on the things that they probably need to get right from year. So it's VAR communication. It's making sure that the offside lines are drawn properly, stuff whatever, stuff like this.
Yeah, because there's a big one on that as well.
Oh, don't do it.
You know what I'm going to say? I don't know much about it because I'm backing it here, but
this is the dumbest thing I've seen.
I'm backing it here, but there's a lot of talk that those lines were dodgy on Sunday night. There is a lot of talk on it.
The one thing I say about it, they'll say, the only thing I find about it's quite funny is they say, it's computer generated, it can't be wrong. Where we saw, I don't know if it was a Sky Sports thing, they had the guys actually draw it, the humans draw it.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing about all the United fans going well, you tell us it's AI generated, yet there's a guy there drawing the line with his camera angle and stuff like that, which is don't get me wrong, when you watch the live back, I thought immediately it was offside. I didn't celebrate at all because I just looked offside.
I was actually rewatching that, and I the celebrations, and I did pick up from both of you that you were both, maybe it's because I said offside straight away. I said it, And like maybe
It
you
just
guys are
felt
like,
offside.
mate, but yeah, I thought it felt so offside.
Ten
and
Hag went
neither
Yeah, I
of
would
you
have
guys-
celebrated way harder.
yeah.
But
You can tell from
I
stuff.
celebrated the most.
Yeah, I
here.
sat down and
But
get
I
up.
celebrated,
And you were both
but then I was
pretty
like,
mild. Well, you couldn't actually tell when they scored the goal because it was such a delayed, like, consistent reaction. You're
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
oh. And it was funny, like, no one
yeah,
could really
but
tell.
I don't know. I think they've got that one right, but like,
Yeah, same. Yeah. But I'm just saying, for example, each year
Yeah,
the same
yeah,
things
yeah.
just keep
We're
reappearing.
like-
it's just frustrating.
We think, but we're not sure. Because
yeah,
yeah,
we
yeah.
actually
We
don't know.
yeah.
We'll put it back to last year.
crazy.
There was
It's
one
crazy.
or two that they actually offside did get wrong.
Yeah,
the lines were
Brentford
drawn wrong.
at home to us.
these guys,
Yeah.
This was the most, like,
That's what I'm saying.
I couldn't believe it. They just didn't check it.
Yeah.
I know, like, we
No,
don't,
no,
we don't
no.
want to drag on too
I'm
much
thinking they got
about
it wrong
this.
with like the lines.
No, but that's
That's
what
the
I mean.
thing.
It was in, like,
But yet they
there
come out and
was
say
in-
it's AI
There was an
generated.
AI.
If you said
offside.
AI, though, they actually don't they actually like?
It's
do
human.
that?
AI
It's
is
human, yeah.
impossible.
But they came out and said after the game on
Yeah,
Sunday,
you
it's
can see,
AI
you can see where
generated.
they're scrolling with the
Which is
comes to the
rubbish.
mouse, but you can see like where they're scrolling and like
Yeah.
they finally get on the
It's-
point.
So what did we even say on the
weekend?
weekend? What was it, like a centimeter?
Nah, it was probably like
Just because
Two or
the
three.
angle they gave was rubbish. I want to see that side.
Apparently, they've got a camera on the 18-yard box
I
and a
promise
camera on the
you.
halfway line. And the problem they said is,
Promise you, Garnacho was off.
okay, the problem was they reckon they have a camera on the 18-yard box and
Yeah.
on the halfway
And I
line.
was like right in the middle
And
of
right,
those
it's
two.
right in the middle of both of them. And they said, like, well, where those camera angles say it was offside. But, like, if it was right on the line, it could say a different story. That was their argument.
Now we want tripods going down the side of the touch lines at the next
It's
one.
like realistically, though,
linesman.
Yeah, no,
realistically,
yeah.
they should have 8 or 9 at least down the pitch.
They have enough.
Yeah, but the point is, I think like honestly, what is the point of having linesmen like in the next 5 years? Like to be honest,
It's a dying.
like is it for the tradition of the game? Because like
I think for like
cares?
the
I
you're
could
telling
do
me,
stuff. I could do
you're
one
telling me
over
we
it,
couldn't
no.
have
It's
like
basically
we
for the
couldn't have like a
throw-ins.
little rover thing with like a buddy
Like got the
GoPro
cricket,
on it.
the guys that like
Yeah, you
spin
could
around
have
the
like a
ground.
GoPro on this thing and just it'd be so much easier to do that.
Anyway.
I think because of the throw-ins, they'll stay.
To wrap that up and actually talk about the game, West Ham, good first half. I was interested to see how they would play because they've been playing on the counter attack all season. They did very, very well. Paqueta, Emerson, down the left, they were killing it. Bowen, obviously, Bowen's probably one of the most informing is going around at the moment. But then we saw like Luton at home. Once that goal went in, there's a bit of pressure building and the like. So hopefully they're not such easy sort of pushovers throughout the
I
season.
just think like those opportunities there against the West Ham. I know West Ham are in the like one of their
They're in
best
form.
patches of forms they've probably had
But it was a
in the
gettable
recent
result in the
years.
end.
But like Luton's got to try something there. Like I know that we're saying they're unlucky and they should have probably got away with a point there, but like again, they've come in
Even
off
then,
the
a point
90th
isn't
minute.
enough.
There was no
like if you're going to
intent
stay
there,
up,
though.
you're going to have to win.
There
Like
was no
12 games,
intent
or
at home to
least,
go
yeah.
on with it. They sat in.
No,
deep.
not 12.
No,
They're
sorry,
gonna need
I meant points. As in, like you're gonna have to need like 3 times 12 by 36. You know what I mean? As in,
Yeah.
like, you're gonna have to get like
Somewhere.
close to 40
Yeah.
points. To
I don't
stay up,
think
and I
still-
can't see them getting anywhere near that.
Nowhere near it. No,
Either way, they're still going to have to win probably 2-3 games away from home. Do you even see them doing that?
no, I can't say it. They sat in at home. They go away. They sat in even deeper. It's just not
No,
gonna
but
happen.
Didn't you guys win like 2-3 games away from home last year? Borderline, wasn't it close? Like,
It was just
Probably
top
5 or
six,
6.
top 16 game.
But yeah, I don't know. My prediction, I think, still stands with Luton. I think they're going to beat Derby's record.
Right.
but didn't you have Sheffield below?
So we're 2 teams below.
Could be
well,
both.
Be.
perfect
No,
segue.
yeah.
Perfect
But I don't know.
segue.
But I think I've changed my opinion a bit on Sheffield.
Oh, you just
I
ruined
should-
the perfect segue.
Well, you touched it. Yeah.
I'm saying,
Sheffield hosted Everton. Sheffield hosted Everton 2-2 draw. But again, they miss out on an opportunity because Pickford makes the most incredible double save.
Yeah.
after his own goal.
McBurney's, I think his own goal, that was unlucky. McBurney's header
it was.
saves it horizontal and somehow gets himself back up to block it with like his chest or something. But again, Sheffield United again, like it gets to the 90th minute and
Archer
again they come in.
quality.
Yeah, it's a goodie. I actually got the team right this time. He's playing for Sheffield United. But yeah, he was good.
Quality. Like both goals were his, even though the second one's an own goal.
It's his
like,
goal, yeah. Picks the ball up and just
hits the
Curling
post. Like that's a quality finish, and even the first one.
it's
Quality as
power
well.
behind it. It's like power and accuracy.
Finish.
Like you were talking about that on Sunday night of the game, like getting power and accuracy. Like it's a
Yeah.
hard thing. And Archie nailed it, like low, hard into the net.
Well, at this level, it's just what you need.
So like he was from Villa, correct?
Yes,
Yeah, not Burnley.
not Burnley.
Oh, well,
I
you
butchered
thought
that. I
he
thought he
went
went
to
to Burnley. I
Burnley.
thought
Yeah,
I
yeah,
He
butchered
was
that.
from Villa, but he didn't get much game time, eh?
Well, no, they got like
They
so
got
many
Watkins and then they
strikers.
got
Yeah, so like,
direct- no, direct-
how's this bloke just come into the Premier League and like,
Well, he's obviously had talent though.
Where was he playing last year? Like on loan?
No, he was at Villa. I'm pretty sure last year. He just was like back up. Like, he just didn't get much time at
So
all.
you're telling me like he's back up, and he's gone for like 20 mil, and then he's gone and just scored goals like.
But his quality,
Young English talent,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
he made cameos last year.
yeah, like he scored goal. Like I'm pretty sure he scored some
I
goals.
don't. I don't recall him too much. I'm just saying.
I think it's a good get though.
Cameron
for,
Archer had a bit of a name.
It's a good get for them, and like McBurney looked good as well. Like hold up play, he set up that first goal for Archer. Probably should have scored the winner. I think going down the end of the game, like I keep saying, Everton looked well off. Like obviously they had good periods, they scored in the good periods, but as the 90 minutes goes, I think Sheffield United look the better team.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
As you're saying, compared to Luton, they look a better team than Luton. They actually look like they're going to go after
look horrible,
teams.
to be honest.
Luton just sit in and just hope they can.
That's what I'm
pounce a
saying.
counter.
Like, yeah, I obviously put Sheffield as last and Luton above, but I'm
think
happy to reverse that.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of like a passion merchant thing with Luton.
Well, I just saw the final, like the passion they played with there, and like the defense
think,
they set
like,
in. And
I think Sheffield can really
was
stay up.
much
It's
of a
going to be
muchness.
hard, but they could.
Stay up.
I think they cooked.
they've already lost like a potential 6 points basically from these first
I think they
five.
could.
four
I
legs.
think they're going down. I'm just saying. I think they've
They'll
got a
be- they'll be
chance.
the
I don't
8-8
even see
team.
Luton.
You think Luton already back down there?
I don't see where Luton pick up points. I can see hypothetically how
wonder what the odds are.
Sheffield can pick up points.
Luton need to basically beat Wolves, Everton, and Sheffield when they play them. That's basically how they're going to have to stay
They're
up
still
and beat them twice.
they're
They've beat all of them
still-
Well, and
twice.
hope the other guys
Still-
don't pick
yeah,
up
yeah,
big
don't pick
points.
up big
Still,
points.
they're not going to go up with 6 wins.
Oh no, but I'm saying that's the first step, and then you have to get draws to like Forest and stuff like that. But as far as that game
I reckon they'll
goes,
be playing $1.02.
Luton are $1.22 to go down. That's grim. They reckon that means they reckon they'll go down 80% of the time.
there's almost like no point putting money.
Hold on, what? No, I'm higher than 80%.
So as far as Everton concerned,
82.
Danjuma on the score sheet finally, he looked alright, but I think still just I'm not. I actually want
What's
to
the
go down.
celebration this one?
They give them like the
like a little
peacock thing
snake
or something like that. But they just look just average.
Yeah, no, Everton look
Yeah.
Like Tarkovsky looked more like Dashball again. He was like blocking balls ahead and stuff. But like it's still just like
Again, they versus Sheffield. If they can't look good against Sheffield,
that Beto guy looks alright, but he looks just a bit like a passion merchant, like just a better version of Morpay a bit.
Yeah.
Like he just runs around a bit and slides, tackles, and shoots from
Is
everywhere.
Morpay?
He's gone now. He's back to Brentford.
So,
Back to
so
the
he's,
OG
he's
spot.
gone?
Yeah, he's done.
Confirmed?
Yeah,
Okay,
confirmed.
I didn't actually see the confirmation of that.
oh, is he actually gone?
Yeah,
I didn't
deal.
see the confirmation.
That's where he made his career, though, I guess, at Brentford. So hopefully,
Yeah.
he
So
revitalised
like,
something.
do you reckon he's going to get game time at Brentford? No.
No, because Visser and Mbamo and Sade are killing at the moment. As a front
Yeah, but
three
it's, they
there.
don't really have. I feel like they don't have that much depth up
Oh
top.
no, back up. He'll be on the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's in like I think he'll get minutes. I think it's a different dynamic to what they have up top. Not as fast, but a little bit better.
They were holding,
just a bit
spin,
better on the
like,
ball.
yeah.
Like probably more better replication of Tony than Wisser, for
Yeah,
example.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah,
We'll go to the next game. I didn't watch it because once I saw the first goal going, I got bored. So it was City 5, Fulham 1.
I actually did watch this one.
You watched this one? Go.
Yeah, I watched
give
this one.
us the synopsis of Haaland's hat trick.
Foden was really good in
Yeah.
the first half, or at least first half an hour. But that City sort of hadn't clicked yet.
Yeah.
I
Have City clicked at all yet this season? Have we actually seen the best
think
of them?
they did show more of it in the second or in the middle period of the game. So Foden was good. No one was really on his wavelength for the first part. Him and Alvarez are sort of drifting across the front.
I think under the radar, Alvarez has gone this season.
Yeah, Alvarez was
scoring.
good. He kind of hauled though without having a massive impact though. Like as in
assist,
he,
goal.
Yeah. He had a goal and 2 assists or
Or he
assist
got
and a
taken
pen.
down for the pen.
Yeah, assist and a pen.
Yeah.
And it was like Alvarez was good in that 10 role, but I think Foden could have been just as good in that role.
Yeah,
And to be honest, I think Foden is more suited long term for that role. I think he has more of that he can pick up and run with the ball
technical
sort of
ability
thing.
to grab it and go.
Way
yeah.
more technical, I feel like, whereas Alvarez is more of like despite being a little bit smaller, he's more of kind of like a power
He's
guy.
in a
like,
forward.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he's in a
100%.
forward,
Like,
yeah.
kind of carries a
Yeah.
little bit on him.
But I'm just saying, he's been under the radar this year. Like,
Doku?
you haven't heard much about him.
Doku's first game, so he
The part I watched, he looked good.
yeah,
Like,
he
was
debuted
aggressive.
and he was clean on the ball, looks really quick, but didn't get in too many threatening positions as we've kind of seen in the past that in a Pep system, although it wasn't Pep managing, it takes a little bit while to gel.
Yeah.
But he looked threatening. Well, not threatening, but looked all right.
A different dynamic. They need.
Yeah, very different dynamic to what they usually have in the past.
Yeah.
So he played on the left, where Grealish obviously normally plays, and he's a little, not as fast, more of a byline player. Whereas I feel like Doku will be more direct
get into the area
as he goes on.
Yeah.
And obviously Haaland did what he does. He was really clinical.
Yeah.
Picked up really good spots.
Again,
and
he's
just,
even gone under the radar, I reckon, this year. Like,
Who, Haaland?
Haaland's first 4 games this year, he has the exact same goal output as he did last year. And I feel
Just because he hit the post and he missed a penalty and all that stuff like.
He was bad the week before.
Yeah.
So whoever they versus, I can't
Sheffield
remember.
United.
Yeah, Sheffield.
And he still scored. Been a bad
He
game.
should have scored. Haaland last year was praised on his clinical.
No, I know, but like he's still got what? I think it's
Clinicalism,
6 from 4. Like,
No, I mean,
we're not slandering him.
Yeah.
It's just the media love to get on his back because he misses one chance.
Yeah, whereas,
I think
whereas on the weekend he was way more clinical. Like,
I
the
think the
balls at his
problem
feet,
is,
bang.
well, it's not actually a problem. I think the thing is,
He
he came in last year and it's like goals. Now we expect it from him. So if he doesn't do goals.
He's ticked off 1 hat-trick for the 6 years to get from last year. So he's
Well,
on
I
his
mean,
way.
even as we saw last year, like when City underperformed for like 2 games, I was like, oh,
He still scored.
like, is Haaland the problem? So we saw last year, like,
Yeah.
this already happened. But I think there's a little bit of credibility to that in the sense that City obviously were 3-time or 4-time Premier, Prem winners before Haaland came, right? They won 4 of the last 5, whatever that was, right? Like, so of course there's going to be criticism if they don't play well when he comes in the team. So as in, because if they don't, he's in the team because he's clinical, right? He's not in the team for his hold-up play or his build-up play.
He touches it like 4 times,
obviously
scores 3 times.
He's going to cop criticism when he doesn't finish chances, right? So I think there was a little bit of credibility to that, more than maybe people gave it. But at the same time, like, you can't really doubt him for too long. He's going to score. Like, he's going to break
He just can't stop
every record in his career as long as he keeps going on the same trajectory, So I think, no issues with City. Trying to remember the goal they conceded. It was a Tim Ream head of the back stick. Like,
that was just like
they went 1-0
deflection.
up and then random deflection. Edison pulled off a pretty good save, but Fulham didn't look too threatening or anything.
I think they lost their heads after that Ake goal. Yeah. They were rattled by that, like the whole offside, not offside.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Marco
Silva's
Silva's
fuming.
He's already
about
picked
that.
up a suspension and has now had another yellow card. I think he's due for another suspension. After 4 weeks, he's already picked up like 3 yellows, which is nuts.
City did what they did and put them away.
A game I did watch though, Burnley 2, Tottenham 5. Angeball is well and truly alive.
Yeah.
So they concede after like 4 minutes from that Foster guy again. He looks like a decent sort of poacher sort of player. He's going to sit literally at the 6-yard box and just tap balls in. Then after that, like Tottenham, I was saying to you guys on the grid, they played a very average first half. Like turned the ball over.
What was the score?
I think it was 2-1 half time because
Romero.
that's
funny. You were texting us. And
and I was like,
average. And I
was like average.
Romero with a strike and a half.
Oh, he blasted.
that was right on half time, eh?
Yeah, and I said to you guys, I said, they're going to get a bollocking at half time. They're going to go and score like 6.
You got Son being up top, right? You made that prediction, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that
And
right.
you
obviously
nailed
Yeah,
it.
I said
That's
some.
so
major dividends.
It was only going to be a matter of time because unless Richarlison had an end product, which he didn't, he wasn't going to stick with it. And now you look at it was pretty evident to me when they brought in Brennan Johnson that someone's going to go up top.
Yeah. I also think that, I think
shit.
Richarlison has managed to avoid so much criticism. Because
of one World Cup,
I don't even know what it is. For some reason, Richarlison seems to be immune to criticism at the moment. Signed for 50 mil to what's supposed to be a big club, and yet maybe it's just proof that they have no fans because this guy has cop. We see it every other big club. Pepe at Arsenal or
Anthony,
whoever. Take your pick
Sancho,
at United. Or City's the only one because they or everyone performs. Yeah. But Mudryk, everyone else cops major abuse and criticism.
Havertz
and yet this guy's gone, one whole season, started a new season as supposed to be the main man. Spurs have been playing attacking football. And I don't think he's got 1 goal contribution yet.
Not in the Prem. He's scored in some cup games.
in the Prem though.
Yeah.
So I can't believe how under the radar he's gone.
They lost.
It lost, yeah.
So anyway,
they lost to some League 2 team.
They lost to. They lost
to Fulham on pens. But he scored in that game.
But so look, I think credit to Ange and credit to Son. It sounds like from all accounts that he didn't actually have that much of the ball in the game.
He didn't touch it.
And he kind of showed how clinical he is as a player.
But it was to your point. It was like playing balls, like the third goal, second goal, where Kulusevski whipped the ball outside and whipped the ball in behind him. Son just 1 touch, 2 touch goal.
Yeah.
And that's what you were saying. That was
something I'm really eager to do, but I don't know how I'm going to do it, is get started by FPL because
100%.
100%. Him as striker now,
it's dollars.
I think there is no world where he doesn't score 20 goals.
Yeah, no, Madison is good, but
Some will be
as
better.
an FPL asset, you want the 5-point goals.
Yeah.
And you rack up bonus points. And look, man, like Human Son.
I had to bring in Sterling this week. So
my only concern was that, as I saw on like my 1 second of goal rush where they brought up Spurs, it was like, he hasn't actually had that much of the ball. He's had 3 goals.
Yeah.
So in terms of attacking chances, you can back players being clinical, but you'd rather back XG and chances and stuff. Right?
Yeah.
So I probably want to see maybe 1 or 2 more games after international break. They have a tough run.
Because Son's
you're not going to bring him in yet?
Well, they have Arsenal and Liverpool, so I'm not bringing him now.
And Son,
no way.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Son was clinical in this game, but the previous few, he's missed some gettable chances against like Bournemouth. I think he hit.
I agree.
And also
but
last
he's been
year,
in
that
a
was
difficult
that's what
position.
he
He's
can't
always
like.
been in that back pose.
Yeah.
I have to cut in. And now he's got his,
to be honest, it was so clinical. That flick was so clean.
He's flourishing at the ability to get in behind, and that's son of his best.
That's his best.
Son of his
behind,
best is 2 things. He can drive at defenders
and get him behind.
And he doesn't want to drive at defenders from the left wing and go jug.
He doesn't do that.
He wants to like drive directly
honest,
at goal.
He sort of runs on a straight line. Doesn't do too much.
No,
he's a straight line runner.
He's quick.
He's not much of a skill. Like he's obviously got he's skilled.
Yeah,
but like
not
on
like the ball, but a man of few touches
usually.
Man of usually few touches, and they're usually really good touches. And or historically at least when he was in his prime, would take a few touches and get it on his foot, and because he's so good on either foot, it means the keeper's positioning has to be in the middle of the goal, which means that some keepers can factor in Anthony, for example, but he's so prominent on his left, so they'll take a more central position because they know that he's going to back
far
post. Whereas in this game we saw he scored near post.
Yeah. Little dink over the top as well.
Yeah, dink or near post. His arsenal, right? No pun intended. Of of finishing.
Yeah.
In theory, should be really, really good because he's so good on both his feet, and even we saw he can go over the top. So look, I wouldn't be surprised, especially in the way Ange is playing with Spurs at the moment, or Ange's got Spurs playing. If Son can return to his prime and score, it's just 20 goals.
Do you think he's definitely a better striker than left winger?
That's probably one concern is how much will he
system,
play?
We keep saying this, but in the Ange system, he just looks better because there's so much space in behind.
The Ange system, yes, but Jordan brings it back to me, the Rashford debate.
Yeah, but he's different to Rashford.
So we've come to the conclusion now that Rashford's way better on the left.
Yeah, but Rashford is a bit of a pussy when it comes to challenging. He doesn't. Sonny will jump for anything. He got the armband on for a rate. He will actually go after things. Rashford doesn't stick tackles. He doesn't jump.
I think that's a big thing.
He's scared of contact. Where some there's a reason he got the armband. And he's he actually loves the club. He can he'll go in.
Everyone loves the manager at the moment.
Yeah,
right? Whereas Ten Hag is clearly a very controversial man within the dressing room and the club at the moment. So I think, he's obviously in terms of Spurs, they have a massive next couple of weeks now. They have international break.
Yeah, if you can get results here.
And I'm assuming most of their squad will be together.
Yeah,
they're all kind of mid at the moment. So,
other than Son, who goes? Richarlison ain't going.
Is it all
Madison
Richarlison definitely is going.
No, Richarlison will go, Romero will go. They'll have players go. Maybe I'm wrong, but
their midfield will stay together other than for Madison.
Across the board, they're going to be together for the next 2 weeks mainly. They've got a couple more weeks under Ange. But then they have...
Whatever it's called.
Then they have Liverpool and Arsenal. So, look...
The Liverpool game's massive, I think.
The trajectory of Ange's whole Spurs thing could completely change based on these games because they've beaten teams they're supposed to beat. Okay, I know United was a little bit was a big scalp, but if they suddenly lose 2 on the trot now and get outplayed by Arteta and Klopp, then
and if they get bad,
suddenly it's maybe we should calm down a little bit about Spurs, and the pressure will remount pretty quickly because that's the way it works.
The thing I say is I thought it would, but I think it'll be more media pressure than fan. The fan.
I agree.
I reckon they're so as long as they would just attack, we couldn't they couldn't care.
Yeah,
all these fans I'm seeing on Twitter, TikTok, and stuff. They're I couldn't care less if we're conceding this, that, and other. We're just attacking. I think
that's because they've been drained of it. If you look at their last 2 managers, Mourinho and Conte.
Yeah, no, but I think that's what coming into the season we were worried about that. They're worried about fans' perception, but I think. You're right, because they've been so drained of it, and because
Spurs have Sheffield first, but then they have Arsenal, Liverpool.
Yeah, so I think they're just so want this attacking football. They don't care how the results go, as long as they keep playing this attacking football.
Probably 2 watch-alongs there.
Potentially.
Even Madison, your doggy, even Bassoon had a better second half. All their players are just coming good, but you look at Burnley, and we all had them pretty high. And I had them high because I watched a lot of them last year, and they were good, but the jumps obviously too much for them because
at the moment
they're not having enough time in possession. Their possession they have is not positive; it's side to side. And I think they might have to revert. We were talking about how long it take to revert back, and it might come pretty soon because they're the only team now without a point. Them and Luton, the only teams without a point, but Burnley sitting rock bottom now. So I think it's going to be a big few weeks for Burnley as well when they come back for the international
How long
break.
do you reckon Company gets?
I think it's the season. I reckon there's enough time there.
You reckon?
Yeah.
You reckon if they stay on the same course until like December, you reckon Company's still there?
We talked about in the last few weeks, these old school managers like the Allardyce and stuff like that, they're not saving anyone anymore. Like we saw Allardyce try and come in at Leeds, made no difference. Like the Hodgson's now taken back
saying
at
that,
Perth.
Allardyce was given 4 matches.
And City was one of them.
No,
Like,
I think it's not the right era though.
Leeds like ownership.
I think we're just in the
Sean
wrong era
Dyche kept him
for.
up. So I disagree a little bit there.
Yeah.
But
Everton came in and kept them up.
Probably depends
But
on how little points Burnley are on though.
Yeah,
And
the
like
Allardyce
how they're
was
playing.
given 4 games.
Yeah, but
What do you
Hodgson
want him
didn't.
to do
No,
there?
but Hodgson didn't. For the one thing, Hodgson didn't play the whole Brexit thing, and he's still not
Yeah,
playing now.
correct.
Okay, that's maybe unfair, but like I think it's more of like a symbol of like that whole past of just bringing in the Tony
I think
Pulis's
the
and all these
biggest
guys.
problem-
It doesn't work anymore.
I'll tell you why I agree with you, and it's not because of the evidence you've given. It's because more of the fact that Burnley have obviously got a set of players now that
To
are
play
playing
a certain style,
to
yeah.
play a certain style, and like if you're going to go back
Similar
to
to Leeds, to be honest.
Yeah, Leeds were brought up on
Leeds.
like high press.
that's
Yeah.
Jesse
Yeah.
Marsh.
So if you're going to play like, if you're going to get
that's
Burnley like to start playing like old Burnley ball
low
under
block.
Dyche,
Yeah.
they're going to need weeks to transition into
How
that.
funny would that be? Everton
Dyche-
sacks, but
Dyche
Dyche.
goes back to
and then that would be
To be
Company and
honest,
Everton and like
I'll be honest. If Everton sacked Dyche and Burnley were doing crap,
they'd sack.
I reckon.
I don't think Dyche.
would
I
come
don't
in.
think Dyche would go back, man. He got sacked by Burnley so unjustly a couple of years
It
ago.
was so harsh.
I don't think he go
He
back.
kept them up for like formal team. They probably should
I
have been
don't
up.
know. Yeah,
They went to
with
Europe.
Zero investment playing Dwight McNeil. Like,
They went to Europa League football.
That was
Like,
disgraceful. They had like they had Rodriguez and whoever else they had up. Yeah, and Chris Wood up there. And like,
I remember when they did
no, that was
they
disgraceful.
did a howling against United one game. Oh, that was devastating.
we'll move on to the next game. Another great segue from Tots. Talk about devastating Chelsea 0, Forest 1. Anti Alanga, rhythm is a dancer. He was on the score sheet.
That is hilarious.
Oh, this was devastating as well because I did a nice multi.
And the Chelsea leg.
And the
That
Chelsea leg was the one that didn't come up. Well, I was fuming. Like I predicted 2 draws. I predicted the
Everton, Sheffield, Everton. Who was it?
Everton Sheffield.
Sheffield and
Yeah,
the
Everton Sheffield.
Bournemouth Brentford game.
Drew, yeah.
Like they were both those draws
They're like
were
$4
paying like
each as well.
$4.
I
Yeah,
know, I know.
and
I
I
saw
predicted them. And then Chelsea's like paying like $1.25 or something. Weird.
Disgusting.
First time
And like
Forest
that's
have
the
won there
leg
in
that
like
comes
50s
down.
or
So
something.
yeah,
Um,
probably shouldn't be promoting betting on the channel.
Yeah, as far as Chelsea go, average, not many chances. Enzo had a few pop shots. Gallagher had a few pot shots. Jackson
I didn't watch this game. So who was best on for Chelsea?
was there in a bit. Probably Gallagher.
Yeah,
Probably Enzo.
Gallagher's look good.
But they had so much of the ball because they were just passing. They weren't doing anything.
Yeah, but
It reminded me of like
United.
Yeah,
Against
the old-
Arsenal.
yeah,
They're doing like
yeah.
side to side passing in the back.
Nicholas
like-
Jackson once again misses a sitter.
I put the
This is-
ringer
is
on
this-
him now.
Is this becoming a problem though, or what?
I think it's just a curse. Like,
See, yeah,
you gotta be honest with the curse.
you
You gotta
got
be
the,
honest.
He's not even number 9 though. Like,
Yeah,
he
he's
doesn't
still
actually have
17.
number
He's still
9.
got the curse.
Is Amando Bro higher than number 9?
Oh, he might be.
No.
Has anyone got the number 9 right now?
Or is
Chelsea.
Lukaku still on loan? And like,
Lukaku's on loan to Roma.
but is in like, is it because he's still like
Maybe 'cause he's-
technically
yeah,
on
he's
their
still-
books
Oh,
or
I don't know. I
whatever?
think they're scared to give anyone the number 9, to be honest.
But it's about the position now because
Yeah, it's
Jackson
just
was
the
so
slot.
good in pre-season. Maybe because, I don't know, the supply was a bit more in his pre-season, so it's not like pressure.
missing
But missing
howlers,
from like
though.
3 yards out and somehow getting over the
You're
bar.
still big on him though or
and
not?
actually cost.
I'm big on him.
Like, you're big, like a
Look,
week
I'll
ago.
keep- I'll
He
keep-
reminds me of Nunes to me. He
Because
reminds me
like,
of Nunes.
because yeah, and I think Nunes is sort of coming good. I tend to think if they've gotten this far in their career, they can finish chances, right? You give them enough chances over a big enough sample size, they're going to come good and they're going to score goals. Some players are obviously better than others.
Yeah.
But I tend to, like, at least in my FPL mindset, right? I'm going to keep him in fantasy because he's got an easy fixture run and he's getting chances created. He's underperforming his XG by like 4 goals.
Yeah.
He's going to put some of these away eventually, right?
There's like
Just like a
there's
matter
like-
of when.
There's 2 points. That like obviously, Nkunku being out was a big thing because that connection they had there in pre-season was like nuts. And Nkunku looked the best player.
I think
for
in the
Chelsea coming into
that
it.
is more of a factor of their overall play.
Yeah. And then secondly, like I didn't look much into it. Maybe I should have now, looking back at it. But at Villarreal last season, his goal to game ratio wasn't great. It was like 0.4.
What did he
It was like
actually
it was
score last
9
year in La
goals in
Liga?
like 25 games. But I thought it was more because Villarreal obviously aren't as progressive and in a league where teams probably sit back because the deficit between top and bottom is bigger. So I thought maybe that was it. But maybe it was more he's not as
What do they
prolific
pay
as
for
I
him?
think
35,
he
40?
was. It wasn't too much. It was around that mark. Like it's a good deal. I think he's got all the quality to be there. It's just that finishing touch we saw in pre-season just obviously disappeared.
Yeah.
And when that comes, and we saw with Núñez how good he was against Newcastle, if that sort of comes, you've got to play out these quick. He gets in the right spot. He's obviously in the right spots. Like he's getting in these areas. Just can't
Do you think
put the ball in the back of the net.
Chelsea are more concerning than United or vice versa?
I think Chelsea just because
I think United.
you talk about now then, but
I think United because it's now your second season on the Ten Hag,
Yeah.
You know, like you've had one full season, like you've had 38 Prem games plus the rest.
But do you not?
quickly. Okay.
Yeah, do you not think that, like, if you just look at the Arsenal game, the fact that, like, when
I thought you showed nothing. I thought you showed nothing in that game.
When Lisha and Lindelof came off was when it really broke down.
Yeah, broke down defensively. I think my point with United,
we're never going to show that much in attack.
But that's my problem though, is that you're supposed to be
more the personnel
spending big money, right? You spent pretty big money, right, across his
huge
10 years so
don't,
far.
Yeah, don't shoot grass. Huge money.
So my point is that I'm concerned with United because I'm not seeing a style of play which is going to be sustainable, whether it's a big or small team you're versing, whether it's away or home, right? You know, like we saw, like, you know, like Brighton have outpossessioned Newcastle, right? So they're at least, like, you know, they're operating like a big club. Big clubs, right? You know, United, you need to play with a big club mentality and sitting back, like, you know, which what I don't know. I'm not sure what the stats was in that game, but it felt like we dominated possession at least, right?
I don't know if I felt like you dominated chances. I don't know about possession. What would you say there?
Well, okay,
visually, it didn't look like us had many chances.
Even if you had possession, it wasn't good possession. It was deep in your own
box.
box.
Side to side. It was side to side,
like, you know, Onana would have Onana literally broke De Gea's record for most successive passes. And that's not because he's a better passer of the ball. That's because he had more passes than I'm sure De Gea's ever had, right? Like, you know, come on. De Gea can pass the ball side to side if he really needs to, right?
55 to 45. So it wasn't like as drastic as
to
it felt
us.
To you.
Yeah. But even then though, it's like, it didn't feel like your possession was good possession. When we had it, it feels like we were passing around.
It was because you guys were playing through a press, whereas we were playing over a press. And when you play over a press, there's so much empty possession, which you get the ball back after defending, and then you just give it away.
That's my reason why.
Yeah, that's why I agree with you.
My biggest concern is with United, whereas compared to Chelsea, they've had, you know, a bit of a pre-season, 4 games, like.
Sure, I get that point, and I'm just probably a bit of devil's advocate about it, but like we always talk about the new manager bounce and like Poch coming back and all this history and all this stuff.
That's definitely true.
And I thought it'd be, especially with the fixtures they've had, I thought that'd be like
100%
up there. And this is what I was worried about coming into the season. I said,
I pictured them third. Like,
yeah, well, you guys had, I said it was going to take some time to come together, and I think I'm now being validated my point 100%.
There. Could be more like the Forest thing.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, yeah, but when we saw parts of games, like we're seeing moments, but these moments aren't big enough. Like, you know, like United had probably a bad example. United had that 10-minute spell in the second half when Højlund was getting involved. But for Chelsea, it's like a 5-minute spell where Gallagher and Enzo are getting the ball and progressing the game. But it just feels like, talking about side-to-side possession, Chelsea were just side-to-side. I think without Reece James there, it's such a big loss because their ability to bomb on and get forward, they just lose it. They don't have that same forward momentum. They feel like they're just stuck here and like side-to-side.
Not good for Chilwell either in the sense that getting dragged in 60 minutes and
every week
when they're losing 1-0 at home and they bring on they brought on a 4, but they're keeping on 3 centre backs.
Yeah, they started to play the 3.
It was so strange. Like, I was like, you know, Chilwell usually has this crazy attacking output. You're keeping on 3 centre backs and you're taking off your left. I thought that was really not a good sign. But look, I think part of my prediction is I think the league is going to be so tight this year. I think it will be. Yeah. You know, you're seeing every team has dropped points.
I think 4 to 9 will be close.
I think I clarified that I think City and Arsenal will run away with it. But I think the rest of it's going to be so tight.
Yeah.
And the reason why I still maintain that I think Chelsea can finish third is that I think a good run towards the back end of the season I think people underestimate how good that is. If you can win 7 or 8 games in a row, which goes under the radar, because if you're in the middle or, you know, if you're not in title contention or whatever, people can't forget about it towards the end of the season.
Do you not think, though, that like Liverpool's heads that they're going to get, because they're just like hitting their straps now, is going to be too much for Chelsea? Because I feel like it'll be Liverpool, Arsenal and Man City and then the rest. That's what it feels like for me.
See, I don't. I can't
Liverpool ain't going to keep up with Arsenal and City.
No, but
even if Gravenberch is that
I feel
guy,
like their gap to Chelsea or whoever that or Newcastle, whoever that fourth and we're bigger than I think you guys give him credit to. I think Liverpool are ahead.
Look,
of
if
where those
Liverpool
teams
can
are.
keep going at this rate for until December, and Chelsea don't really figure it out until then I
Yeah,
agree.
well, yeah.
But I remain in this stance that I think, like, who have Liverpool versed?
They've gone.
Have they taken any scalps? They've taken Newcastle
Newcastle
at home.
and Villa,
Well,
basically.
Newcastle, who are at home.
Yeah,
So,
and then Villa at home for Newcastle. I think Villa's going to be better than what they showed on the weekend.
Yeah, no, but look, so I think the Newcastle win was a really good win for Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
You know, I still maintain that they got lucky.
Yeah,
I think
I maintain that as
that's
well.
not disregarding the fact they got a really good
Mitch
win.
Sapazi out there. I got a comment from you saying that.
Yeah, no, he was slandering us.
Yeah,
But
he was saying he was
regardless-
slandering
It's
it.
'cause of
So,
the Liverpool corner
But
forwards.
regardless, so I still maintain that I think I just don't think that Liverpool will pick up enough points throughout the season to build a big enough gap where Chelsea won't be able to catch them.
Right.
And look, this relies on the fact that I think Chelsea, as a big club with a good manager, and for some reason not for some reason they hate Todd Bowley there, right? But I can't understand why as a fan when you spend £1 billion,
you hate him, yeah.
like sure, okay, maybe his investment's been bad, but
He just goes,
He's
bad
American.
investment,
Yeah.
next one.
He's American.
Next one.
That's what I don't get. As an Arsenal fan, it's only been maybe 3 or 4. I was starved
Of
for
anything.
10 years
Yeah.
where we were so close to pushing, and we'd buy a striker, and I was like, okay, just spend 50 more mil and buy a centre back, and we
we're fine.
never ever did it.
You're
And
right,
like,
because even from a United point of view, like we spend money, but we probably spend 150 to 200 mil.
you're always catching up though.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it feels like.
Yeah, so
Whereas
like-
Bowley is clearly being proactive here, and it's gone
And
out
we
and
do
signed
bad, and you look at the
40
investment-
players in the last 3 windows. Yeah,
But
it's
you look
been
at the
bad, but
investment.
You spent the money.
You look at the investment, and everyone's like, with United, you spent the money. But the difference is with Chelsea and United is United spend the money, but it's such bad investments. And after we
Yeah.
spend that
It always
120
looks
mil,
like-
like for example, after we spend that money on
Casemiro,
Anthony,
number 1, bro. Like,
after we spend that money on
or
Anthony, we've only got 90 left for that whole summer because it's not like we go, we're gonna spend 500. We spent 200, so you got 90 left.
Yeah, your
After a
investment's
bad
always been
investment.
horrible.
Just bad ownership and bad decisions, yeah.
And that's why
Horrible.
I can see why fans don't like the Glazers, right? But with Todd Bowley, I don't get this. It's like, okay, maybe it's not been great and you've made some controversial sackings and getting Lampard, blah, 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 blah. But like overall, I feel like he's been proactive in the market. I think like you got players in that squad. Maybe it needs a little bit of cleaning out.
Yeah.
And you get rid of the deadwood and keep the talent. But overall, I think they can get it together under Poch, and I think they'll keep pushing despite poor performance.
As far as the positives, obviously Nottingham Forest, great result. Their first win there in like over 50 years. Ryan Yates, for me, nuts in the midfield. Obviously, Alanga in the goal sheet. Awonyi again, like didn't score but assisted. Great 3-ball to Alanga. Even like Willie Bolly looked like his prime sort of Wolves form from a few years ago. The captain, Warrow, didn't get the suspension after the United game. Like it was just a team performance, and you just tell how much like they battled. Like there was guys cramping and not able to come off, and it was a workman-like effort. Like don't want Chelsea probably didn't push them as much as they probably should have. But like
it is a
all
great win.
respect
It is
for Nottingham Forest.
It is a
like,
huge win.
And
Like-
these are what I expected to happen under Steve Cooper because like we saw in the championship they were workmanlike, but they were also quite talented and ability to counter attack and to put good moves together. And that goal was a few passes, pouncing on a mistake from Caicedo, and then 1-2-3 goal.
Did you see that Forest signed 6 players on deadline day
They went nuts.
or 7?
Because
On deadline day.
You get 50,
They announced 7.
Really?
So,
you get
kind of
50 from
random,
Brendan
but-
Johnson. They just replaced him with like a
Yeah,
Riggy.
it was
like,
crazy. They clearly,
all these,
they clearly had that really planned.
Yeah, they were ready to pounce
was
on the
impressive.
signings there. But Nottingham Forest looking good. And
I think we all said. I think it was all under our predictions this year. Like we think
Well,
Forest
I
can
think
kick on this year
Yeah.
and maybe get.
Yeah, I think we'll
you
have
had
them
them
at
high.
10th.
I think I had them at 12th.
I think we're-
like,
10th,
which is
11th,
pretty good in this league.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Like
Steve Cooper,
Yeah.
what a manager! Though. I think talk about going under the radar. I think Steve Cooper's a very, very good.
Oh
manager.
yeah, he was very.
to manage that dressing room and to manage.
also great.
I think he was
backing
hard
from the
done by
club.
Sheffield.
Also great backing
After
from
that
the club.
year, he was hard done by Sheffield.
In the way that
He was at Sheffield before, wasn't he?
I don't think no.
Yeah, I think Bro's waffling right now.
Nah, Wilder was.
Wilder,
yeah,
yeah.
I
yeah,
think you're waffling right now.
yeah. Waffle merchant. No.
No. But it's great back
yeah,
from
I'm
the
about to say,
club,
yeah.
giving that 3-year extension last year when
Yeah.
they were like 7. They were in the relegation zone at the time.
Yeah,
pretty
and
sure.
just backed him in.
And they went
got
out,
it
gave
together.
him a 3-year extension, and they backed him in.
The club loves him, but the fans are all behind him and stuff like that.
I rate that. Really good ownership.
And you were, before we touch on the next game, underrated, like getting the likes of like the Alangas and like the Montiels, who obviously are not a part of the other club's plans.
Yeah.
And then bringing all these guys that are almost like rejects together and making a team that's
Buying
so
them probably like underpriced cost.
Underpriced.
Clubs just want to ship them out.
yeah,
100%.
and then making these rejects haven't worked in a system work in their system, I think is so underrated. Like
100%.
You look at Montiel, who was a World Cup winner.
but didn't want it at Sevilla.
I know.
And then you got Willie Boyd, who wasn't wanted at Wolves, and obviously Alanga wasn't one year wasn't one at Liverpool. All these guys sort of like get put together.
And then making the most of selling someone like Brandon Johnson.
Yeah,
like,
for their
I'll probably touch
talent.
on Arsenal's terrible like transfer business like next week or whatever it is. But like the art of selling players,
so important.
Well, it's definitely an art. Put it like that. Is like and
for good money as well.
Yeah, making the most of selling Brandon Johnson, who's shown a bit.
Yeah,
but like.
Probably not 50 million.
Yeah,
I like him, but he's not 50 million.
Probably
player.
not. Well, like maybe in today's market, but making sure you get the money for him, right? And like, and being able to reinvest it is Forest will look like a really well run club.
We'll skip over. We'll quickly run over this game. Brentford 2, Bournemouth 2. Exciting game.
Yeah.
I get Brentford at home. I'm gonna say every week they don't lose at home. They're just so hard to beat at home. A late winner from Mbermo, really needed for them.
I think I texted the group chat when this happened because I was fuming. So obviously, don't have Mbermo in FPL and like. Goodness me.
I'd wish to hear the post. I was feeling
Bale
about
that tweeted about it.
But Brentford, both teams would be upset they didn't win. Obviously, Bournemouth giving up the late, equaliser.
Bournemouth got a win.
Not yet. But then 3 post hits for Brentford in that game.
My relegation sneaky.
They could have been 5.
Looking good.
You guys who hate Bournemouth over this.
Relegation sneaky.
The Gary O'Neill fan club.
I didn't put him out, but I still don't see him going down with the how
Iriol
bad,
is so cool.
There's a couple of them that suck. But
But I think a point which both will take, but both will be disappointed they didn't win that one. We'll come then to the late kickoff Saturday. Brighton 3, Newcastle 1. Newcastle with a late.
I fell asleep during this game.
Yeah, one thing I would
watched the
say
first
is
half,
I don't know if
which
you
is
guys had a look at it, but there's been a lot of stats going out about Evan Ferguson's hat trick and the 18-year-olds. I only came to the realization that Michael Owen had 3 hat tricks at 18.
But that's why there was so much press around. He was like,
no, I mean, he did win a Ballon d'Or at like 20 years old.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
No,
3 hat tricks at 18.
Yeah, I think Michael Owen's history, I think he's one of them is never probably lived up to what he was supposed to do.
He almost peaked way too early in his career. But
sounds like a Wayne Rooney.
Still won a Ballon d'Or, so you can't say he didn't.
Oh, no. But he hit his peak so early.
As in,
yeah,
but he was probably regarded as one of those who's supposed to go down as one of the greatest of all time. And look, he won a Ballon d'Or. But did
he really be as big as we thought? Everyone thought
I mean, probably a couple of great seasons.
No, I know what you mean.
Talking about guys, obviously Evan Ferguson hat trick. I said it a few weeks ago. I listened to one of the podcasts and people coaches mentioning how Evan Ferguson's so similar to Harry Kane. But this was a Harry Kane type, pouncing on a fumble from the keeper, a great shot from out to the box, and then left foot. I don't know, it's deflected, but it looked like it was going in as well. It's just almost was similar to Haaland. The ball's at his feet. Watch out. The guy's got power, he's got accuracy.
Oh, Evan Ferguson's been showing it for 18 months though now.
That's what we're saying in that live stream,
His finishing ability is nuts.
And one thing we've said on the podcast is there was big talks that they've already valued Evan Ferguson.
100 mil before the
100 mil.
Crazy, yeah.
Well, Salah's 215.
What are we valuing it now?
Honestly, if Salah is 215,
250.
Evan
least.
Ferguson, you cannot tell me
You
that.
have to disregard the
No, I know, but I'm saying
hypothetically.
I'm saying it's hypothetically. There's no world in which Salah is worth more than Evan Ferguson.
Correct.
Is there no world?
No world.
And realistically,
but realistically, what is Evan? If they're saying 100 before that performance, what's he now?
Look, maybe 130, 140.
Do you reckon by the end of the year,
I think it had
to 160, 170 mark?
Well, if he scores 20 goals,
Evan
Ferguson scores 22, 23 goals. How much is he worth? He'll be 19.
But I'm saying, keep it in count. He's in a 5-year deal as well.
I don't think anyone's
so
worth more than
170.
Brighton is the best run club in the world.
He's on a 5-year deal. You can't just sign to him for...
Is Brighton the best run club in the world?
Right now,
they have to be. They have to be.
They're in no financial trouble.
Oh, 100%.
That owner...
They replaced Potter with an even better manager.
They make money.
It's unbelievable.
They're a better version of Dortmund.
They've signed Ansu Fati.
I know, they're taking the piss.
He was supposed to be Barcelona's next big thing. That obviously injuries derailed a bit, but one of the best wingers in Spain.
You see that video with Ansu Fati? It was him watching all the highlights, getting Barca's number 10 to watch. To watch League 2 highlights.
I do find it crap. My thing with Brighton is that when are they going to take the leap? Yeah, when are they going to stop operating like a Dortmund? Where they just sell.
Is that possible yet? Is it possible?
Well, no, I don't. Well, that's what I don't know. But that's why I'm curious.
Is the stigma always going to be there? Just being
is there business? I think we said this before. But every week it just becomes bigger and bigger of a question.
I know,
because the rumours come out about players going for more money.
When do they keep the Matomas?
And they're winning more games. Yeah. And they're beating Newcastle 3-1 where they batter them the entire game.
Yeah.
When does it become a situation of when do they kick on? Or are they happy to be that 9th, 10th place team who can maybe get Europe some seasons
look at
and
this.
finish lower some seasons.
15 shots, 56% possession. Like if you're looking at it and you just close your eye and think it's like you think it might be like Arsenal versus like Luton. The looks of it, like they've got more possession. They've like almost doubled the shots of them, and that's against one of the up and coming teams and like apparently challenge for a title. Like the stigma is just going to last though, right? Like it takes a while to sort of like scrub
You think
away
it's out
that
of the
stigma.
picture though, like out of the picture that
It's not out of the picture.
no,
It's possible.
out of the picture that you look at like this window, they've made a lot more. They would have netted what 50 to 100 mil.
More,
Yeah,
more.
more than that
More.
because the
And I think
sales
they'd
of
be-
like 180
If
mil
I'm not,
between
if I'm not mistaken,
McAllister and
if I'm not mistaken, they've been netting the last couple of windows, correct?
Well, they
yeah,
sold
but
Cooker
it's
out.
obviously it's obviously behind the scenes. Like as much as you can
So,
joke
but
about
do you
it,
not
but their
think-
youth system's
what I was
rated one of
getting
the
at-
best in the country.
Yeah, but
so
what-
to fund that, you need infrastructure. The Amex is one of the better stadiums, but
Yeah,
it's
they
still
have really
small.
good facilities. They have
So
really
like
good
it's
facilities.
developing the facilities to be still good, but on a bigger scale.
I think they have a
but
nice training
what I
ground
was
and
getting
stuff
at
like
is,
Yeah.
do you not think that there might be a time where like they keep their netting profit? Like there might be a time where we go, instead of us like just like using, so they made what 180 mil this year, using that 180 mil back, they're going to accumulate enough to then we're going to go for a push now.
I think
I think it's a massive risk.
But I think a push is not like it's something different. It has to go through like outside of the football pitch stages. Like we saw with Everton trying to do things, and now look where they've gone. Like
Horrible investment though.
yeah, but
Yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they were one of those teams that
No,
were always
I
on the
know-
edge
I
of
know what
Europe.
you mean.
They're on the edge of Europe for 15 years. They try and make
Bigger
the next
fan base
step.
too, like-
Different
I don't
manager.
think for
No,
Brighton
like,
you have to
no,
go
but-
do like a United Arsenal signing. I
No,
think
but you
more
can't-
people.
no.
I think what more people are understanding from a Brighton point of view,
you're
like maybe
skipping-
go to do those 50, 60 million.
But you're skipping like the big step of like they're not there. Like they're not a
Yeah,
Premier League team. Everton were the oldest team in Premier League history. They tried to take that step with playing in a new stadium, Ancelotti, bigger managers, and it didn't work. And now they're sitting at the bottom. Like it's a dangerous step to take.
No, it's a huge risk.
It's a
huge
massive
risk.
step,
Because
and you
one-
have to
because,
build the infrastructure around
If
it.
it goes wrong, then like
Then you're in League
then,
One and League
you
Two.
don't have any of that money underlying you, which you can reinvest because the leap is that you have to try and become one of the big boys, and unless you get bought out by someone with a heap of money,
And nowadays it doesn't happen like that. Yeah,
and why would Brighton sell firstly?
Yeah,
Because clearly
the owners
like
love.
why would, as an owner of Brighton, what is the upside to trying to make that push? You're already making so much money, right? And maybe you say it's not sustainable because they're finding gems. That's
Would
not,
they be
that's
one of
not
the
a
only
sustainable
Premier
business
League teams making money?
model. I think they're all making money, bro.
They all make money of
I think
profit.
come
The
on,
viewership.
they're all making money.
Apparently, United are netting losses every single year.
The only
No
thing
chance.
I'll
They're all
say,
maybe they're netting losses, but the club's overall value is going up, bro.
the value, but I'm saying like they're actual like what they're taking out of the club. They're not taking much out of the
No,
club.
potentially, but they're all bro. They're money making machines, man.
what I'll say to your point, that like case in point is Luton, who were a premiership side established, who got relegated 30 years ago when the Premier League came to Premier League,
Yep.
and they got banished to like non-league football, and it's taken 30 years to get back. So the danger with trying to take the big step, especially now, like you said, in this day where you need heaps of money to take the next
You need
step,
$1 billion investment.
it's too much with how little and small they are. They're still the Sussex, whatever they call them by the
because
sea. They're
worst
still this
case,
tiny
these big
club.
clubs have fan bases who'll keep buying shirts, etc., etc. Whereas if Brighton start losing games, they lose to Serbia. They don't play entertaining football anymore. They're going to suddenly go back to their diehard fans.
They're
in
still a
Brighton,
seller club.
and then they're going to be like they're going to be selling. Yeah, they're
town
going
is
to be a
tiny.
10th of what they are now.
Like going
So
to
it's
the
a massive
game
risk.
and
It's a
seeing
massive
there,
risk.
like the atmosphere, it's not like a big club atmosphere. It's not a ultras type atmosphere. Like walking to the ground, it's like you're walking past these cottages and it's like a few thousand people.
Little bakery down the road.
And like to get there, it feels like
seagulls.
it feels like you're literally like in the forest, and then all of a sudden you jump out and it's a city. That's what it feels like going to Brighton.
That's
crazy.
And you get there and it's just like, well, this is one of the at the time wasn't like mid-table, but now you're talking about like a biggest European club. Barcelona or whoever in the Euro, just as long as who's the Europa League? Liverpool were driving, or like one of the European teams drive down the road, and all of a sudden there's Brighton. Like it's not the same thing as like you're in Manchester, the industrial city, been here for heaps of years.
Yeah,
built
major history behind it.
Yeah, like it's obviously the steps gonna come hopefully eventually, but it's not like honestly the next 5 years, it being the next 5 or 10 years.
I'd say
Like,
at least 5.
It's a long process, but
They need
that's if you keep these deservy characters, you keep the owners, and you keep the
And
scouting
as I
stuff.
said, it's unsustainable. Like it would require, it would have to break like every single precedent or set a new precedent,
that we've not seen
on
in the
every
next
level
40
to be able to
40 years.
replicate this for the next 5 years, let alone 20 years.
We haven't seen that happen at all, really. In the last
And as I was
10
saying with
years.
the upside, like at the moment they're making their margins are so high because they're spending nothing and making so much money.
Yeah.
The
When you
only
start
way
spending
they
more.
would make like more money is to grow their revenue by like 10
Tenfold,
times.
I say.
And to do that, you have to take a massive risk on investment, like bigger than what we're talking, right? You have to become one of the big 6 clubs. And like we've seen what Newcastle have done to try and do that. They have an entire country. They have a sovereign fund backing them. It's I mean, in their scenario,
And they've got one of the most passionate fan bases in England.
They have history there. Like it's look, you know, for Brighton to go to the next level is probably, it's in theory, it's probably a cool idea, and that's why I asked the question.
Yeah.
But it's probably at least in the next 5-10 years, like, you know, not in the.
It's a cool thing to think about, but I think it's just not very logical.
It needs organic growth.
Yeah. That game we sort of talked about before. Very well played from Brighton. They look like they've kicked into gear quicker than I thought as well. With all these new sort of pieces, they just, as we keep saying, they just plop someone else in there and it sort of works. In possession, I think one of the most beautiful teams we're going to watch.
So good to watch.
Yeah, just popping around teams. We'll sort of touch on Liverpool here. We'll sort of gloss over these guys. 3-0 against Villa. The only thing I worry about Villa at the moment is against every big team so far, they've looked like 10 times off it. Like they just do not look good in possession. They look panicky at the back. Obviously, the own goal for Cash is hard, unlucky and stuff like that.
And it was a great finish from Szoboszlai as well.
So finish.
And then finally it was the Salah flick the Salah. Right?
Nunes flicked on Salah. But like, it's just even Newcastle felt the same sort of thing where like they had some chances. McGinn missed a very good chance when Diaby rolled it in, but just like, I think they're a great team. I think they'll do well this year, European, I think, again this season, but you want to see them take that next step with competing against these sort of teams, right?
Yeah, but you still have to look at their squad. Their squad is impressive in comparison to the other teams who we compare them to.
Yeah.
But
we also did say at the start of the year that we're predicting them to finish 8th because they're not actually there's 8 clubs. Which have
eight clubs who have better teams, exactly. So like
or 7 clubs or whatever.
realistically, against those big teams, they are going to struggle. Like especially Liverpool. Liverpool at this current moment in time are one of the better
hottest
teams on form. I think they've got read this morning 15 games in a row unbeaten. 10 wins in that, 5 draws.
Playing at home.
Building that home record again.
Playing at home. So, like, I don't know. I don't think you can really...
the home
I'm not slagging them off, but
I'd like to see... They'd probably have to start... They'd have to take a little bit of points off the big 6, big 7 teams.
But maybe at home.
Maybe
they've lost to Newcastle away.
But I'd like to see them against Chelsea and United because...
Yeah. I just think,
I think that's more of a...
I don't know if I'm being harsh in saying this, but the whole Unai thing, I want to see him take it to a big manager and try and take the out... Because... It wasn't outclassed by Eddie Howe, but like they got chopped up there. And then Jurgen Klopp, another big, 2 big managers going at it again, sort of outclassed again. And I'm waiting for them to play a bit in possession, play a bit in possession away from home, play a few triangles, play around teams because it still is counter-attack to Watkins and Diaby and hope. That's where the chances came. It was over top Diaby, over to Watkins, hold up, play on. So hopefully, like obviously against the smaller teams, they dominate. We saw Burnley last week; they chopped them up. Yeah. But I want them to see them take the next step. And
and I think that'll come with time.
Logically, over time. Yeah. I was going to say Unai. I want to see what Unai can do with this sort of team and see if he can take it up to them. Obviously, Liverpool done well. Szoboszlai, looking like one of the better gets this summer. And Nunes,
great
Nunes without finishing again, looked really, really good in behind, creating chances.
Got an assist on the Salah goal.
Missed an unlucky effort when he stretched out with his right foot for the back post.
And basically probably should have put away the cash goal. Yeah. But look, it went in. So
yeah, he's getting good. I'm back. At least got one of my guys that back didn't come in good.
Yeah, I was big on Nunes too. So I'm gonna take that as a dub.
Yeah, a semi-dubs over.
We'll give him 5 months.
Yeah. Palace Wolves. This was a tale of 2 halves. First half, not a chance inside. Wolves probably looked the better team. Obviously, you Gary O'Neill fanboys over here.
Gary.
They're playing some good football, but second half it just opened up.
I don't know if I'm a Gary O'Neill fanboy or more of a Bournemouth hater.
Combination of the two,
Combination.
Yeah.
Wolves again playing good football without winning, but at least they're scoring some goals. So 2 goals in this game. I know one of them came in like the last kick of the game, basically. But first, I look at the better team. First goal, Edouard, nice ball from Mitchell across the left-hand side. Eze finally scored straight. But the interplay, like those goals are probably out of the 3 goals, probably one of the most beautiful 3 goals. That's like a collection. Yeah. A few back heels there from Mateta, flicks on from Mateta.
Edouard, good finish.
Edouard, 2 goals. Second. Yeah, really nice finishes. And Crystal Palace, like I said at the start of the show, they're just firing wins and they're playing attacking football. And it seems weird, Hodgson playing attacking football. I couldn't imagine it.
Well, and Palace had also been getting slated for one of the biggest criticisms rather was like their lack of a prolific striker.
Yes, yep.
And I guess we saw with Edouard and even Mateta getting involved that that his second goal was a good finish. Like that was actually a good finish.
Clinical finish. Yeah.
So, yeah, look, 2 goals. If he can get 10 goals this year, I think that'll outperform expectation.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that go a long way to help him finish 12th.
Well, look, Mateta scores 3 in the week in the cup, and then 2 for Edouard.
Did he score 3 in the week? Did he?
Yeah, he got a hat trick during the week. I think it was against Plymouth, but still, championship side, up and goal, championship side. Yes, Pieface FC. Wolves again, Wolves getting close, but then I think we're talking about it on the. I don't know if we talked about it on the live stream, but Cristobal's got to have one of the strongest defenses for like a top 8 now team.
Probably like a pretty slept on defense. Like is good.
Alongside Brentford, that's sort of like the part of Gahey.
And that's why we always sort of predict those clubs to finish around that mark. I know I slept on Brentford this year, but overall, there is quality names there with players who are probably awaiting a jump to the big clubs. Yeah. You know what I mean? Young.
Like Tyker Mitchell as well, like a really aggressive, he's Angeball calls like fullback. He just bombs on, probably not as great defensively, but some of the balls into the box he can get in. It's so aggressive. Yeah. I think you can see a big move from him. We keep talking about today a bit, mentioning saving a bit too late. Wolves again, how many games is it going to take for them to finally get a few goals on the board, actually get a few confidence boosting wins?
Their time is running out, but the good thing is with Wolves, they're showing their ability to play.
Out of those bottom ones.
Out of the bottom ones, you look at Everton, there's no ability to play. And Luton the same. That's why I'm semi on Sheffield as well, because at least Sheffield are showing something. Same
at home, they can play
and really, Wolves are showing a lot more than Sheffield. Yeah. So if you look at it on that,
Wolves have also been here and done that in the Prem before.
Yeah.
So there is that experience, which I'm sure will come super handy.
And they got a new coach.
They'll come good.
Yeah, they eventually gonna You need time. He came in 4 days before
the start. I'm being so surprised with how Gary O'Neill's done. Don't get me wrong. He's played. We did at Bournemouth, but it's not that easy to say. Oh, I'm going for Bournemouth to play for Wolves. Different characters. Different systems.
Do you reckon his stock has risen even more?
100%. Oh, from my eyes. So you guys are really big on him. I wasn't as big on him.
Not yet. He hasn't got points to back it up.
I wasn't even that huge on Gary O'Neill, but I just thought it was super stiff. It was
was he contention last year for the
manager of the season? Yeah.
Well, but no, I was big on him, but it's in I tend to agree that I think his stock has risen, even though they're not getting results. I think it's hard to
the eye test at least. It looks
good. The eye test, but
the points test is the real
right now at the stage that I think his stock will increase a lot because from the eye test, the football's looking good, they're looking good. Eventually, that usually translates into points. But because it hasn't translated into points yet, I can't say you never know. Sometimes these types of things don't translate.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary because you've had that United loss, which is such a big loss, man. Not even
start the season will be so
not even a point in that game. It's just so stiff.
You actually look at United though. I don't bring it out of context. They should really be on 0 points.
How many points are you on? 4.
6.
Oh, because Forest.
A goal,
If Forest had scored that second goal in the 50th minute versus the 4th minute, it would change things, But I think Wolves, impressive on the eye, still need a striker. Cunha gets in the score sheet. That's the only option still, it seems.
So Chan isn't the man?
He scored.
No, but he isn't. No, I know, but he isn't the man.
He's not.
I swear to God, this guy seems to score.
Just pop up.
Whenever I hear they need a striker. It sounds so weird, but I feel like he scored a couple
of... wrong, he comes up in important moments, but Huang leading your line as a number 9,
Yeah,
it didn't feel like that long ago he was all right, though. And I know they persisted with Raul Jimenez
He came in as a lot of reputation when he came across.
Because he came from Germany, right?
Yeah, I think it was but German talent.
Leipzig.
He came from Leipzig. Yeah,
for me, he'd be good off the left as an inverted left.
Leipzig strikers
One of the best going around those Leipzig guys. Germans, Arsenal 3, United 1.
The German had a great game.
What a good game, how about that? Wins a penalty that was overturned.
I was getting apparently.
I think we've covered this a lot.
Yeah, obviously the live show.
But after looking at the game,
habits.
After the game, looking back at it, I'm actually I've gone off the point where I'm angry, and now I'm looking at it, I'm just
concerned.
Yeah, concerned.
I'm worried.
You passed denial, and
but
acceptance.
Now you're in acceptance.
To me,
United.
To me, we've gone back into this massive cycle where there's a lack of accountability, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. The first goal we've just scored 27th, 28th minute. They've gone down the other end and scored. Odegaard
Well, after
has
you hadn't
run,
had, you hadn't had a chance.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't had a chance. You need after we've got that 1-0, you've got to hold it to half time at least. Okay,
Well, more than 30 seconds.
yeah, exactly, more than 30 seconds.
minute we
Odegaard has run freelessly into the box where Eriksen's got to be following.
Just
him.
quickly interrupted. Like, yeah, Ericsson. That's now like multiple times for the last 2 seasons that he hasn't manned up, and Casemiro's not in the frame. Like, I don't know where he is in this thing. So continue, but yeah, that's
Yeah,
the midfield problem.
that's where like I think last year we were lucky because Casemiro was just on like he was normal Casemiro, like he looked like he was doing
He was
something.
good Casemiro.
Yeah, he was
but he was showing signs that like,
At back end of the season.
yeah.
Yeah, so like we were lucky. He was doing.
How much you got there? 4
He
years.
was doing a 2-man job. He was doing a 2-man job
On his own.
On his own.
Yeah.
But like when it comes into like Casemiro has a little bit off, he's not going to do a 2-man job every time.
Yeah.
Like
I think you talk about cycles. This is, I don't know if I mentioned it here or if I've just mentioned you guys in person, but like when I sit back and look at it, the last four managers, it's always a solid first season because there's no expectation. You're in Europa League, you come
Crazy,
in.
yeah, literally no
Yeah,
expectation.
Mourinho came in Europa League. He won
unbelievable.
Europa League. He won a Carabao Cup. Ten Hag went deep in 2 cups and went deep in Europa League. Cool. No expectations. No one rates us. Cool. That's a good season. Second, let's kick on. Some decent signings to progress you. Probably not the right signings, but supposed to progress the club. You go backwards. The manager's under pressure. The players turn on the manager. The fans turn on the manager. They're gone. They start again. And for the last 8 years, the last 4 managers have done the exact same thing. It's one decent season. Louis van Gaal probably had the reverse. He had a decent second season and then got sacked. But still, it's like, and every manager had a different style. It was Ole counter-attack. It's Ten Hag supposed to play out from the back, which hasn't worked. Then you've got Mourinho who sits back in, back at 5 in times where your DM drops in.
Yeah.
Louis van Gaal tried to play out of it, probably ahead of the time out of the back, but just too much passing around the back. There's all these
And
different
it's been
systems.
so boring. Like,
I want to be honest with you though.
The point in proof, Eric Bailly, who's been in the club for 7 years but hasn't seen the field,
he's still there.
he just got sold. And that's just a sign of the club just not progressing. So
Eric
different
Bailly was
managers.
still there. Eric Bailly
He got
just
sold.
They just saw
Oh.
yesterday
to
to
Fenerbahce.
Fenerbahce.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
What
what
would
the
you?
Turkish guy?
Okay, if
What?
There's
I-
no progression.
I
That's
think
the
Ten
sign.
Hag's going to be
Is he
trying
injured?
some weird
Always
stuff
injured. He was
soon.
on loan, he was on
And I'm
loan.
going to give you an explanation of what I think he's
Man,
going to
that's
try.
crazy.
I think there's 2 things he's going to try, Eric Ten Hag. Because
Fight
I can't.
Fight
I
Sancho?
was listening to his press conference. And there's no way he's playing Johnny Evans and Maguire. Neither together or by
I'm
themselves.
about to say, this is the sign of a manager losing control.
I think Dalot
in the Sky Sports
I
thing,
really think Dalot
in the Sky
or
Sports
Wan-Bissaka will
interview-
be playing centre back
in the
the
Sky
next
Sports
game.
interview, he goes off about the refs. Normally, managers don't do it on Sky Sports. And then in the interview, he blatantly says, "Were they bad?" He said, "Yes, that's my." Like, you don't say that about your players in the interview. And then obviously the Sancho thing, he's lost the plot. Like,
Well, do you think
Bro,
that Wan-Bissaka or Dalot's going to play centre back next game?
I think Ten Hag.
You don't think so?
No.
I think it's way deeper than that. I think Ten Hag is not the man. Like, I
I
hate
think
to be super reactionary, but I'm an Arsenal fan.
After last year, he exceeded expectations, exceeded everything so far.
but what manager
It's
hasn't
not a
done that at
joke.
United in their first season? Ole was
I think you
second.
hit it on the head. Like,
Ole beat PSG. Like, what
the
manager hasn't
expectation
exceeded?
was
Over exceeded.
so low. You got battered 4-0 by Brentford in a half.
No, it was
7-0
7 0
against-
even
No.
he came.
7-0 against
That's what I'm
Liverpool.
saying. Is it literally couldn't have bottomed out anymore.
7-0
And then you guys
Liverpool,
go and you go and beat us.
5-1.
Anthony, your 100 man. Anthony scores against us at home, where you weren't even that much better than us. We probably deserved
It was
to win.
counter-attack yesterday.
Like, and this goes back to my point. If you guys are at least operating like a big club on the field, then maybe you could cut him a little bit of slack, and you could see the direction at least. There doesn't look like there's a direction because there's no actual intent to play like a big team. You guys sat back for 90 minutes against us. Okay, you tried to play out from the back. No, you didn't. You played a few passes,
Played sideways.
and then ended up going back to Onana, and you played a long ball over the top. And the only goal you scored was from a Havertz mistake.
Yeah,
like,
it was turnover, yeah.
like you didn't look like, okay, you had one chance at the end of the game, Garnacho, right? Okay, I understand that. But other than that, in 90 minutes of the game, you had one goal from a mistake from Havertz, and that was it, bro. Like,
You're relying on Casemiro to nick a ball in the midfield or someone to turn the
just
ball
think
over.
that
and
That's
you
counter-attack.
lost. You should have lost to Wolves. You've lost to Spurs. Like, it's not going well for you guys at the
No,
moment.
I agree,
Your
but-
transfer strategy was abysmal. Mount is a horrible
I think
signing.
the injuries we've
Onana-
had is
Onana
also
shouldn't
like
have conceded. Like,
the injuries we've had.
yeah, okay, maybe that's a fair point. But okay, so who's been
But
injured?
but to your point, for a big club mentality, injuries should never be a problem for a big club. Does City
Yeah.
ever come out of injuries? No, because they've got depth everyone. I know it's a very
And
big
you're-
example.
like,
Liverpool have
and
depth.
who's getting
Every team has
who's
depth.
getting injured?
I disagree with
look
that.
at your
Liverpool
team.
with that
Look at
injury
your team.
season.
You fielded
still
on the
came
weekend.
fourth.
You fielded like a 32
Yeah, and who
year
said
old.
we're not going to come fourth? We might end up.
But right now, we're not
but
playing
that's
worse than
the
Liverpool.
point,
Are
though, is
playing.
that you guys are supposed to be trying
Much
to kick
worse.
on and,
Yeah,
and be
it's not-
good.
it's not
like
promotion.
Liverpool and Chelsea, you come off like almost borderline record
peak years.
bad years, right?
But they've come
Like-
off peak periods where they've won Champions League, won trophies. We've won
At
stuff
least,
all for like 10 years.
In the general cycle of a club.
No, I'm
Liverpool
agreeing
and Chelsea
with you, but I
perform
think
well.
it's hard at this point in time after 4 games, after Ten Hag's season last year. If this continues for another 4 or 5 games, I agree. But it's very hard to go on Ten Hag yet.
I know, but we're here at the match
disagree.
week 4
I
review,
actually disagree,
and
because-
right now it's looking delayed.
Yeah, because he's fallen out with his players
already
4
weeks in.
right? And look, you can say what you want about Ronaldo.
You say that, but
what
you're acting like Pep hasn't had a falling out with one player.
Yeah, but so
or someone else
here's
hasn't
the
had a
point
falling
everyone's
out.
He
raised.
has, but he
You can
hasn't
have a
lost
falling
the
out.
rest of the dressing room.
Yeah, but
Well, who said he's lost the dressing room
and he can
today?
have but these guys, Mourinho,
think-
Pep, Ferguson, these guys won things. They had respect. They won big trophies. They won Champions League. He won an Energy Cup and he's won the Eredivisie in a one-team league.
Yeah, and
so he has
got
he has nowhere to stand
quarterfinals
on.
and semis with Ajax.
Yeah, he has no
look,
foot to stand on.
yeah, like Ten
That's the
Hag's
problem.
come in. The guys he has wanted to sign have been okay, right? So you can't
That's sugarcoating it.
Like you can't sit here and for some reason you guys have convinced me Anthony's not that bad. Anthony was 100 mil. Like he's been okay, right? But it was 100 mil signing. He would have been okay for a 50 mil signing, right? I think you can't back him up on his transfer strategy.
I disagree where I disagree. This is where I disagree. You look at Harry Maguire and McTominay, who we both wanted out of the club. He wanted to go sign a centre-back, which guaranteed would have helped on the weekend.
Yeah, Tadibo.
Okay? Tadibo would have helped definitely on the weekend. He's not got... I don't know if it's necessarily
Tadibo
his
in
fault.
theory would have helped though. But look at your signings.
That's the premise, I guess, of what's happened. Yeah.
It's even like Amrabat. Amrabat wanted to come to United 2.5 months ago.
I guarantee
he's on the last day of the week.
Guarantee you, if De Gea was still there and he let that goal in on the weekend, you'd be sitting right now saying, "Oh, Nana would have been better on the weekend." Or if I was saying how uninspiring your team play was and how these long
It's
balls
not the
and stuff,
point though.
you would have been saying,
I think Ten Hag
but if we had
deserves
Onana
it. No, he
instead of
deserves
De
it,
Gea,
but he's
his
been
build-up play
so
would have been
mistreated
better.
as well. I agree. Onana's mistake. I like De Gea. I wish De Gea was back a little bit.
but
You know I love my love for De Gea.
I
okay?
don't think... Okay,
But I think, come on, you can't. You as a United supporter, do you not think Amrabat knowingly stopped training with Fiorentina in July? We're in September, and United only got him signed because it was a loan deal because we couldn't fork out 18 million. I know we forked out a bit before, but 18 million.
Playing devil's advocate, we talked about Liverpool early on. Liverpool owners aren't angels, but Jurgen Klopp's been able to work a way around it.
But no one's comparing Jurgen Klopp with Ten Hag, but Jurgen Klopp's a lot better
but
manager.
what you're trying to say is the blame should be on Ten Hag, it should be on the owners. So I'm saying, give you an example here of when owners have not quite delivered in the past.
It's a combination of both.
It's a combination of both, but I think there's
but
a lot
I
of
just
things
think
that
Ten
haven't
Hag-
helped.
Ten Hag's absolutely
So
under
you're
pressure.
telling me Amrabat next to
Absolutely.
And I
Casemiro
also-
on the weekend wouldn't have helped our game plan as well?
It probably would have, but Mount didn't. So then tell me why Mount was signed.
Because he was so big on Mount. He was like, oh, the first song has to be Mount. Like, it was Ten Hag.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced it was a Ten Hag signing.
Why did it sign Amrabat then for half the price?
See, in that
that's
scenario,
rubbish.
then that's just finding an excuse for Ten Hag.
Yeah,
come on, you can't.
You are finding an excuse for Ten Hag with
because
the owners. That's an excuse.
because if you Mount is supposed to be there to play as the 8 connecting your back line, your defense to your midfield, right? Is he not? Or to your forward line? The point is that Mount hasn't worked out, and you know how you're saying before the show.
Mount hasn't worked out. He played 1.5 games, but yeah.
Yeah, but Mount was
Rubbish.
dog crap.
So was Rashford 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, but
currently-
again, 2 seasons
okay,
ago the manager
well,
was awful.
And
So
3
what's the
years ago,
difference?
Rashford was really good.
Yeah.
And 3 seasons ago, Mount was really good. 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, but here's my point.
But,
So 2 seasons ago, Rashford was rubbish. 3 seasons ago, he was good. Ole was good 3 seasons ago. Ole was shit 2 seasons ago. Rashford was good last year. Ten Hag was good last year.
Look, I see.
You guys are
saying.
jumping to conclusions
I
here.
see what you're saying. No,
I'm just saying what I'm saying.
I'm jumping to conclusions because I'm saying
Because
I've
you're
seen
talking
United
about
in
the
the past.
same United who very easily right now we could be talking over 2 centimetres. I'm saying that was a poor performance, but that was a poor performance more because of Maguire and Evans
that would
being
be
at the back.
papering over the cracks so hard. If you're going to say that over 2
We're at
centimeters,
the Emirates still. We're not at that stage yet where we're going to be. For us to play
but
better
I'm
than you
telling
and
you-
win,
I'm telling
for us
you,
to play better football than you
fundamentally
and win,
though, fundamentally.
That means we're challenging for the title.
Ange has been at Spurs. He was at Spurs for 2 games when he versed you guys, was he not? Or was it 3 games? Regardless.
Second
Pre-season
game.
He
against
came there
Shanghai.
and he implemented his strategy straight away,
Yeah.
and he went to Old Trafford, right? Or was that at home?
It was at home.
Regardless, though, like, you know,
It's already home for Tottenham. It's
like-
rubbish.
he implemented his strategy, didn't shy away from it, and it, you know, instant impact. We saw what he wants to do, and it paid dividends, and they won. Right?
For me, this is one of the only occasions I don't mind the performance at us. I'm fine with that, but it's against Forest.
Does it
it's
not
against-
slightly concern you though? Do you not think it's a little bit uninspiring?
But against some of that,
not
I'm
really.
fine. I'm fine. I'm a result to the guys. But it's about performances against like the Forest, against the likes.
Yeah, I'm
of,
with him.
I'll
I'll tell you why I disagree, because if we were going to go to Arsenal and match you
in a situation,
at
I
the
can understand that.
Emirates,
I can understand
well, that means we're title challengers, and
I think as United fans, your standards have slipped. Then
I don't think it's that. I think it's more the situation that was surrounding it. The thing that I don't like, I find uninspiring, is the performances elsewhere in other games against Tottenham, against the other
I'm
three
with
teams,
you.
the injuries, and then the thing that really, really annoys me is you've fallen out with a player 4 weeks into a season.
and you're scapegoating him publicly
and coming
That
out
is
publicly and
disgraceful.
slandering your 2 centre backs who you brought on. That was your decision. You're slandering Sancho.
That's
You're slandering the refs live on Sky Sports.
You
Which
guys
no
are
one does that.
completely wrong here. So let's say he gets asked.
How are we wrong? I'm just
He
saying what
gets
I've said.
asked because you know with Jadon Sancho's presser, I'm telling you, no matter what Ten Hag said, if he said, "Oh, Sancho is sick," the press asked him, "Why did Sancho on the match day squad?" And what's he going to? If he said he was sick, I guarantee you, the way Jadon Sancho replied, I don't understand why. He has no
clearly-
ability to reply like that. He doesn't understand.
He only replied because he was provoked by Ten Hag.
Unless Ten Hag is an absolute donkey, as we've seen with Ronaldo, right? Like, okay, you can say what you want about Ronaldo and like you know how he massive ego, blah blah blah. But we saw him under Ole. He didn't have like, you know, he had an ego, but he didn't have like this like, you know, overpowering over the manager sort of situation, right? Like Ten Hag instantly came in and instantly made Ronaldo like, you know, the
Public enemy number one.
Yeah, like, you know, public enemy number
He
one.
didn't start, and then he didn't like him because he never was playing, which is
But
Ronaldo.
I
And
say-
I'm not,
I-
nothing
no,
against
I
Ronaldo
don't-
for not
I just
liking
don't know
him.
where
I
Ten
have
Hag
nothing
has.
against
I
him.
don't know what
I've
this
se-
massive
I've
bank
seen
Ten
this.
Hag has
I've
of
seen
like
this.
success though. You
Yeah.
know where
He
where-
doesn't, but like you're
Well,
good.
I don't know why.
Well,
he
here's
gets
logical. So you said
yeah.
Ronaldo. So Ronaldo was first, then it was De Gea, and now it's Sancho.
I think the De Gea
And
one
then-
was the worst
And
out
then
of the lot.
and then he doesn't put the finger at Anthony. He doesn't point the finger at like who else
You
is like,
always see managers with their players. They're always going to give him more time.
No. But
Sancho's
where's the
an
blame?
only player.
Where's the
He
blame?
doesn't give a crap about him.
So he's paying
that's terrible then.
standards then
So,
against
yeah.
he likes some players.
And he's already
and you're saying
divided the dressing
the
room between
dressing
his
room likes him
players.
doing that. That is
Yeah,
rogue.
that's
That is rogue.
So you think? What do you think
picking
he should have
favourites.
responded to when he said why?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. But look
Do
at
the
Arteta,
diplomatic thing and just say
early
nothing
days.
or
Like,
just talk
look at
around.
Arteta early days, man.
He really should
He
respond.
defended his players like
Over and over
he
again.
would die on their heel, and he would blame it on himself if he couldn't get enough from the players. He'd be like, "It's my fault if I can't inspire these players enough. I shouldn't be in the job." Ten Hag has to, you know, if he really wants to back his players and not point fingers at a single player who's already under so much pressure, he should manage to, you know.
Who? Like Maguire, who wanted to leave, and then he didn't leave because Maguire got some egotistical thing to stay at United. When literally he was
If
out
Ten
the
Hag
door
can't
so
handle
far.
that, he shouldn't be at the biggest club in the world. Is
But
what we said before.
But
The biggest
Maguire's
brand in the world.
only playing as his 8th choice centre back because Varane was out. Lisha came off. Shaw would have played before him if he was fit,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, yeah.
Shaw
Well,
would
if
have
he wanted
played.
him to leave, he shouldn't.
Okay, then Lindelof's before him as well. So at best he's 5th. If not,
Don't spend 60 mil on Mason Mount then if you need a centre back so bad. Don't spend 100 mil on Anthony if you know you're going to come across these
But
problems. Don't spend, you know,
but I didn't think he'd have.
Don't spend 60 mil
I didn't-
on a 30-year-old DM who's clearly showing his age, his first season out of a 5-year deal. Don't do this stupid transfer business him. Look at ours. We signed Odegaard 30 mil. Okay, Ben White's 50 mil, but he can play
Good,
centre
he's
back and
young.
right back.
He's young.
You know, like
Timber.
Tommy Asu 18 mil can play across the back four. Timber 30 mil can play everywhere he wants. Like we entrust our youth in Odegaard, in Martinelli and Saka and
It's
Eddie.
easier said than
Like,
done, though.
Why is it easier said than done?
Yeah, you know what? This is a good point. We sold Herrera, the fullback. Fernandez isn't getting a game at left back. So all these guys, we got as good
Fernandes not low now,
or
isn't
even
he?
better talent than these
Fernandes
guys.
is
Is
not low now.
Malacia still there? Or is he gone?
He's
He's injured as well.
But still.
That's what I'm saying. We've got
No,
half
no,
that
no,
backline.
no.
He has
He's made the
injury
perfect
problems.
point. We've got one of the best academies apparently in the world,
Yeah.
but you don't bleed him when you're playing Johnny Evans and Maguire, and you're playing Diogo Dalot out of
Because we
position.
set them all
and-
low because we have
I
8
think-
centre backs
I
and
think
didn't
on a
realise they'll all
surface
get
level,
injured.
What you're saying makes sense. I just think you have to deep it as to why.
Okay,
that's
I
the
just
case.
okay.
Yeah,
Let's go.
argument,
Let's take it back a step though.
I think-
So Mount decided at the start of the window. Obviously, Ten Hag had wanted him to a degree. Okay, well, how much? Let's just say he wanted him fully, but he wanted him. That's at the start of the window. There was from the start of the window. It was we're taking offers on Maguire.
Yeah, but
Even with
like-
Tominay, there was a 60 million between them. Who obviously, for some reason or not, the owners didn't want. I think they wanted. They put what they put in with Højlund, Mount, and Onana, and they did not want to spend any more than that. Okay. Obviously, there was an understanding that we're gonna get somewhat. People are gonna offer for Maguire. There was always going to be someone to offer something for Maguire. So they were going to accept it, which they did straight off the bat. They didn't even reject the bid. They accepted Maguire straight off the bat. And then Maguire goes, I'm not leaving. How were they meant to know that was going to happen?
I don't know.
Communication with the player.
Ask the player.
Communication with the player, like have a relationship
like
with the
if
player.
you get offered a quarter of your salary or half your salary, are you
To
going
play
to
for
leave?
another Premier League
Are you
team.
going to leave, or would you rather stay at United where you're still getting in the England gig? Like like
your best mates with Gareth
Yeah,
Southgate.
would
I
you
reckon
rather
it's
stay there?
Southgate's problem.
Well, yeah, okay.
Fault.
This is a bigger problem for like another. This is a bigger problem for another thing. But yeah,
Yeah, I reckon
We're
it's all
waffling right
Southgate's
now.
fault.
we're
so
waffling.
hard.
We're
We
waffling so
are
hard.
waffling,
We
but no, it's valid
we
waffling.
talk
Answer
too
this
much about
question.
Man
Will
United.
Maguire
Can
accepted
we just
West
talk about how good
Ham?
Arsenal are really quick?
They Arsenal
Can
won
we
the
just
game
praise
3-1.
Mikel Ball
Yeah.
and
Talk a bit about Arsenal because I think they need airtime.
Look, I think Fergie left how many years ago? 8 years ago? 10 years ago?
yeah.
Let's say 10 years ago. Arsene left about 4, 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
We've both been down the mud since then after the dynasties, so not dynasties, but like the time periods ended where long managers stay at the club.
Yeah.
We needed someone intermission. We learned our lesson on Unai, right?
Oh, yeah.
We tried with Unai. He wasn't the guy. We actually gave him a little bit of money, and then we thought, okay, this isn't working. Let's bite the bullet on that. And we turned to a young manager full of youthfulness and exuberance and a lot of passion of the game.
Yeah.
Like an Arsenal man knows what it means to be an Arsenal man, knows what it means to play Arsenal captain, right? He wasn't Ole, who was a little bench warmer, came on with a massive pedigree sort of thing. He was our captain, right? So we went there, we invested in him, we trusted him when we were down.
Your captain
Right.
was 1-0, but yeah.
FA Cups count, but regardless, it's besides the point, right? My point is
No,
that
yeah, but-
well, if you want to let me finish, I'm going to tell you why we're second challenging for the title and why you can't win. Why you can't where you have to scrape a win against Wolves in the first week when they get a new manager 4 days before that. So my point is that our club, the reason where we are today and why you guys are where you are today is that we've invested well, we've backed our manager, we've backed our youth and our players, and we haven't scapegoated publicly, and we have an easily identifiable brand of football.
Yeah.
I think these are those 5 or 6 key
Fundamental.
differentials.
I'll tell you why
as to
you got through what you did though.
Why? Because our standards are less than you because we're a small club. What are you going to say?
No, because do you know that time with Arteta when you were on a bad, you were bad at one point. When
Yeah,
you
we were
finished
horrible.
8th, okay?
Yeah, we
I
finished 8th 2
guarantee
years in a row.
There's no way that any United manager would be allowed to go that low.
That's what I'm saying. That was two
Due
of
to
my
the
points.
owners.
That was 2 of my points. No, I know, but this
No
is what I'm saying.
scapegoating.
Where we are.
No scapegoating.
Like I'm saying is in we backed our manager, we invested well. We didn't invest in current little fixes like Casemiro and Anthony. 160 mil on a 31-year-old and a right winger from Eredivisie with 1 foot. We didn't do that. We invested with players who can play in multiple positions.
A Real Madrid.
And can get, and
I think the
so when we
Casemiro
do
slander's
it,
really pretty bad, but
so
yeah,
when we do
continue.
have injuries, injuries might have cost us the Prem last year, but we came second. We didn't come, we didn't scrape top 4, whatever you guys came.
We didn't scrape it really. We finished off 10 points in.
But my point is though, is that
The gap.
we are playing a style right now where we are hoping to kick on to win the Prem. I think you guys are years away. I think, I don't think I firstly don't think you have the right manager. At least with Arteta, it was if it works out, I think we're going to be in a really strong spot. I don't think we're Ten Hag.
The right manager, you guys finished 8th, and not one person in the world would have said that Arteta was the right manager.
Well, Arsenal
right
fans,
now-
Arsenal
well, right
fans who
now
actually
today-
watched our games
Yeah.
did say that though. You find a lot of Arsenal fans, including myself.
Yeah, you played good ball against bloody Burnley back in the day.
Yeah,
Like,
but
You guys can't play good ball against anyone.
Yeah, but
we did last year. We
You guys got outplayed by Wolves.
We can't live in the past. You can't live in the
Like,
past. You can't live in like what happened last year.
Yeah, you guys-
It's been 4 games of the season.
We're just commenting
and
on
you're
the thing.
showing nothing.
Nothing,
It's been
exactly.
4 games.
This
You're
was-
showing nothing.
This is what I was so worried about at the start of the
Terrible
season.
investment.
I was so worried about this
And I
happening.
don't think you have an identifiable brand of football. I think that's a key problem with the thing. I think to win a league, to win in any respective sport, you have to know the direction, and if it works out, if it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't, right? But you gave it a genuine crack, and your best will beat the best. If your problem right now is that I think your best is nowhere near the best, but I think your decent is okay. I think your decent
It's
can
enough.
get you reasonably far.
Yeah.
It can make you enough money by finishing top 4.
It can cover
It
cracks.
it can cover cracks. But with us, with Arteta, it was like if it works out, I think this can take us really, really far. And I still think we're on that same pathway. I think, we've currently experimented with Havertz, right? Because our problem last year was that we tried, but we weren't there yet. We clearly needed to change something so we can beat City away, so we can beat City at home, right? Because they're our competition. With you guys, it feels like we're constantly, for the last 8, 9 years, 10 years, you're constantly doing enough to be around there, but you're never doing enough to be at the top.
Yeah.
And you're not investing the right way, you're not backing the right way. With us, on the week, I can break it down on the weekend, but I think with United and Arsenal, it's a more fundamental issue, right? Like I think on the weekend was a very good representation, and I know you have a good point by saying 2 centimeters could change the game, and that's a fair point. It's a fair point, but that's like on the surface level. I think on the deeper level, even statistically, in the game, and even the eye test in the game, like I just think that we didn't dominate you with chances, blah blah blah, but we dominated you in the area we played the game, and I just think I think at the end of the day, our investment, our 100 mils won us the game. Our 100 mil won us the game. Your 100 mil was okay. He was okay. Like, in all honesty, he was all right.
100 mil press.
But but no, like in all seriousness,
100 mil scored you a goal.
Our investment was literally tangible in that game as to why we won.
Yeah.
Fabio Vieira came on, got an assist.
Yeah.
That was investment, good investment. Whether it's good or bad investment, that was like, our investment last year, which we persisted with. After a bad year, we persisted with it. And then Declan Rice comes in and scores a goal. And I sent people on Twitter saying like, oh, well, if he didn't score the goal, it's an average game. That's besides the point. He literally did score the goal, which won us the game.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that, those 5 or 6 things I listed out before can sort of, identifiably tell us why we're where we are and on the trajectory I feel like we are on and where you guys are.
Well, man's cooked there. Man
Monologue,
was cooking.
monologue, man.
Man was
Oh my
cooking.
God, man.
That was good. That wraps up the games. We'll come to the winners and losers, that being said, because it'd segue well perfect for me.
Sorry, I probably waffled by 5 minutes.
My biggest losers, Man United. Yeah, very depressing style of football and a really tough period coming up. And winners for me have to be Brighton. Brighton are just excelling in every sort of format. We talked a lot about them earlier on, but they're on the right trajectory at the moment. You guys, winners and losers?
Winner, Minson.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah,
Good call.
yeah, big on him, like moving to striker. I think, well, he's their best option in terms of that's going to be prolific throughout the rest of the season. Richarlison has been given enough now. Like he was given the start of the season, which was probably iffy to say the least, because like he was given last year and did nothing, and then he was given that first 3 games, did nothing. So yeah, there was no one else I'm going to put up there apart from Son. Son showed 18 months ago that he could be a striker when Kane was out.
Yeah,
score a lot of goals, and I'd say my biggest losers are Chelsea.
Yeah, tough loss at home.
I'd probably go with United as well, but I wanted to go with something
Change
different.
it up, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So yeah, just a tough loss.
Yeah.
Like they're looking a bit like last year again, where they're not seeming to
Just
gel.
possession and nothing. In
Like
there.
they've got those sightings again.
Yeah.
But they're not gelling again. Like I know you're going to say Poch has only just come in, but like because that happened last year, it looks so much worse.
Yeah, new manager bounce has to happen at some point.
Yeah.
I'm going to go biggest win, like sort of similar thing to you. Like I'm going to go Forest.
Yeah, huge.
I think it's like a good one, in the sense that Chelsea didn't really seemingly create that much.
No,
Could have been a
threat,
story with Nicholas Jackson goal, but yeah, I mean,
Big road win.
yeah, massive win on the road.
Win, yeah.
Sort of like pretty clear, identical trajectory for the future, ideally. So I think that's a big win for Forest. Maybe start something special for this year.
Yep.
And a couple of years to come. Biggest loser. that's 4 games. But I sort of want to say Ten Hag or Sancho. I want to say the United saga.
Yeah.
I want to say I want to say Manchester United's weak.
Yeah.
Mason Greenwood gone, which is maybe a good thing. But then the Sancho Ten Hag thing, they lost to Arsenal in last few minutes, and then the Anthony thing, which hopefully isn't
Yeah, but it's also
hopefully for the sake of the potential victim or Anthony, whatever it is, that the right outcome is resolved.
Yeah.
And that
it's just a week that's
bad
just
week,
forgotten
injuries.
about. Yeah,
Not a good week for United.
international break
I'd
doesn't
say.
come and go.
Yeah,
The
not
only
a good
the
week
only
for
people we want international
Is that a
break
fair
right now.
assessment for United?
Yeah, I'd say like
bad week.
Absolutely.
after the first 4 weeks of the Premier League, everyone's like so hyped. It's been great so far. And I'd say we're like the only ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone who's supposed to perform, maybe Chelsea, but then
Yeah.
other than
No,
that,
but like we're like the only ones that are like begging for this international break.
Well, I
Like,
say,
we're begging. We need those 2 weeks. 2 weeks is 2 weeks. Like more these people can recover.
small positive. I thought Højlund was good.
yeah, it was,
So I'm gonna give it United tick
little
there.
tick,
a
little
little
tick
tick
for-
after my slam. Tick there for Højlund.
with that all being said, guys, that's it. That wraps us up. As we all said, international break. So might have some transfer stuff next week. We'll just do some hypotheticals because we always love to do
I
hypotheticals.
got hated.
Yeah, we went long this week. We went very
How
long
long
this
did it
week.
go?
We're going an hour 40. So with that being said, guys, if you've hung around this long, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys again next week and hopefully some live streams going forward as well. Appreciate you watching.
Thank you.
Like, subscribe, all those good things, and we'll see you guys soon.